platforms. ESP Network, it's game day.
Dakota Community Bank and Trust, your trusted partner for commercial and business loans. We not only provide lending you need to grow your business, but we also reinvest in our communities. We believe in strengthening our businesses and creating opportunities for success. Choose Dakota Community Bank and Trust for your commercial and business loans, and together let's keep our communities thriving.
Serving the community, looking out for you. At Dakota Community Bank and Trust, that's what we do.
When facing disaster, it's not just the things we lose, but the memories. But there's hope. ServPro, with decades of experience in Minot and Bismarck, is always ready. Our certified professionals don't just restore homes, they rebuild lives. Because to us, you're not just a client, you're family.
Since 2003, the architects and engineers at Ackerman Esvold have been enhancing everyday life. From response times to commute times, we've helped create critical infrastructure, enhancing highway safety, flood protection, and public education. And we're no stranger to enhancing fun, family outings, and even game time. Ackerman Esvold, working to enhance your everyday life.
Great news! If you're looking for a new vehicle, Ryan Family Dealerships has the best selection we've had in years. You'll find fantastic offers from Nissan, Honda, Chevrolet, Buick, GMC, Cadillac, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram.
Hold on! Ryan sells Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram?
Yes, we do, and we'd love to sell one to you. Visit one of our 5 convenient locations in Minot and Williston. Get your next vehicle from a name you know and trust. Ryan Family Dealerships.
That sinking feeling you get when this happens? That's oil change-anxiety. The anxiety of being without a car with a billion things to do. The fear of being overcharged. The stress of not knowing where to go or who to trust. But you never get those feelings at Valvoline Instant Oil Change, where you can watch us work right from your car, and we finish up in about 15 minutes.
We changed your oil and did our 18-point safety check.
Valvoline Instant Oil Change. Service you can see, experts you can trust.
For the 4th straight season, DHS takes on Jamestown in week number 6. This year they have matching identical 1-4 records as they duel in Jamestown tonight. Blue Jays, Mavericks. I'm Brock Widener, joined alongside me, Owen Patterson. Owen, we've had a little bit of a 2-minute drill up here to get everything set up, but I think we got it going. How you feeling today?
I'm feeling good. I hope that 90% of the fight tonight was just getting on the air, and we can have fun for the next 2.5 hours. So we're at it with the Valvoline Instant Oil Change pregame show is underway, and football is only a handful of seconds away from us.
Hey, I'm excited. I think this is going to be a very fun game, and I know it's hard to believe because it's only the second week of conference football, But Owen, this might be a do-or-die game for both these two teams.
It absolutely is. Obviously, the non-conference games, some coaches I've talked to before call it the preseason even. It doesn't really matter at all what you do against the East, especially if you're a WDA team. It's about these final 5 weeks of the season. But for Jamestown and Dickinson, they just need one of those get-right games. One win on the season for teams that had some bigger expectations than that. And tonight, when you get to match up head-to-head, looking at kind of teams on the bubble right now, a win today might take you a long way over the final 3 weeks.
Yeah, as you mentioned, two teams that had maybe bigger expectations coming into the season. And for a Jamestown team, they lost their starting quarterback week 2. And over for Dickinson, they lost their starting running back week 2. So two teams that are very much in the same boat, and both teams identical records. Both have had some injury problems. But hey, they have the playoff in mind, and this start is really right now if they want to try to make it to the postseason.
Yeah, and I think for both teams, what they've done really well is respond to it. I mean, for Jamestown, you have to find a new quarterback. They're going to go with a sophomore. He's been playing now a couple of games. He's developing there, really thrown into the fire pretty quickly in week 2. Had to go up against teams like Central Cass and Kindred, and obviously the West Region schedule that's in front of him. And for Dickinson, they have really found a nice option in the backfield with Wyatt Turner replacing the injured #1 running back at Bowdoin Cameron. So the teams, they're not just going to sit and say, hey, the injury derailed our season. They're going to try and build on it.
Well, we talk about some standings, so let's go and take a look at the WDA standings as well as in the East, but we'll focus on the WDA. Minot North, Devils Lake, Watford City all picking up the Week 1 victories in conference play. Dickinson, Jamestown, St. Mary's chomping at the bit again. Top 4 out of the 6 teams in each conference will head on over to postseason play. And you've covered this team a lot last year from Minot North. That's the team to beat this year in AA.
Yeah, the team that I broadcasted their games for last year is the exact same team that is playing this season. So many returners for that Sentinel squad.
Yeah, so many returners for that team, and that team has not only a target on their back for WDA, but they have the target on their back for state.
Yeah, when you've been #1 all year long and you got a team as hungry as Kindred is in their first season of 2A football, I told this to Bryce the other week, I think we're on a collision course, and maybe hopefully statewide we get undefeated North versus undefeated Kindred. I know there's 2 teams today and a couple other teams in AA football that want to prevent that from happening, though.
Hey, you might get undefeated Kindred, but you could also get undefeated Grand Forks Central in that title game as well.
You very well could, yes.
So, hey, that's still weeks and weeks ahead, but we've got a fun one here today. Dickinson taking on Jamestown on the PSP network, and more to come on the Valvoline Instant Oil Change pregame show when we continue on.
Wondering whether you need wealth management? Wealth management is a multifaceted offering that should provide opportunities for growth and security. At BNC National Bank, we pride ourselves on putting your priorities first and providing practical, objective financial advice. Our team can help you assess your goals and take stock of your assets to determine whether wealth management is right for you. Speak to a member of our team today to learn more. Member FDIC.
Being in business for over 25 years, we've learned a lot about why local matters. Unlike those guys, we take pride in our work and back our tires with our Plus Plan guarantee to get the most out of your tire's lifespan.
Are the tires the same size on all the sides?
We strive to provide great value to our guests and lowest prices guaranteed.
That's not good.
Stop at a trusted tire and auto and get a set of tires from people you know and trust, and will even match those guys.
That sinking feeling you get when this happens? That's oil change anxiety. The anxiety of being without a car with a billion things to do. The fear of being overcharged. The stress of not knowing where to go or who to trust. But you never get those feelings at Valvoline Instant Oil Change, where you can watch us work right from your car, and we finish up in about 15 minutes.
We changed your oil and did our 18-point safety check.
Valvoline Instant Oil Change. Service you can see, experts you can trust.
At Badlands Pet Crematory, we understand that pets are family. Unlike other crematories in the area, we are the only dedicated pet crematory that offers private individual cremation. One pet at a time, 100% guaranteed. From start to finish, we personally handle your pet with the utmost care, ensuring that you receive only your pet in return. Choose Badlands Pet Crematory, because saying goodbye should come with certainty and trust.
Rooted in the heart of our vibrant communities stands Brevera Bank, offering complete financial services for banking, wealth management, and insurance. From home loans and checking accounts
Let me tell you about the cashback rewards with this account.
To wealth management, we'll help you forge your path ahead.
Let's create a plan to reach your financial goals.
Sounds great.
With specialty insurance coverage, our advisors ensure your operation can carry on.
Looks like it's going to be a great harvest.
Welcome back into the Valvoline Instant Oil Change pre-game show. It's your locally owned oil change headquarters, 25 years. Lundine's, taking care of people. Local actually matters. Not to mention, this oil change is a stay-in-your-car drive-through oil change that is typically performed in 15 minutes or less. Find them in Minot and Bismarck. It's Valvoline Instant Oil Change. Hey, Owen, at the time we were getting everything set up today, we could have got our oil changed over there at Valvoline.
Yeah, you know, they worked pretty quickly getting an oil change. We worked pretty quickly moving everything on top of the stadium here in Jamestown. Folks, we are on the roof of the press box tonight, so I think the wind's going to die down. It's pretty favorable for us right now, but just so you know, we are in the elements today on a beautiful first Friday of October.
Hey, at least it's today and not Sunday or next week when it's going to be a little
right.
frigid.
Yeah, state semifinals when it's 4.
Well, this matchup going to be fun. Both teams 1 and 4. And again, as I mentioned earlier on the pregame show, this is the fourth straight year that they face each other in week 6. So, hey, got the schedule nailed down for these two teams.
Yeah, a little more than, I guess, just regular familiar opponents then. But Jamestown and Dickinson, I mean, they've been playing each other for a long time in the WDA. They've kind of been moving up and down between all the levels recently together. So it's two teams. I know there's first-year head coach McLaughlin for Dickinson, so it's kind of a new look for the Mavericks this year rather than Jamestown, kind of doing a lot of the same year after year here, which is in the 2020s been winning football games.
Hey, here's an interesting thing for you to take a look at 2023. Both teams ended the year with 6 wins. 2024, both teams ended the year with 5 losses. Right here in week 6, identical record. So these two teams are basically sailing the same ship side by side the last 3 seasons.
And I think even when you look at kind of their game plans today, a lot of them maybe line up, especially defensively, where it's stop the run. Dickinson echoed that to us. Jamestown's going to be doing the same exact thing. Force the ball into the air, make the opponent prove they can pass against you. So the similarities just don't stop between these two programs.
And these are two programs, as you mentioned, they're trying to get the ground game going. These are the two teams that have been picked off the most in WDA. Both quarterbacks are trying to clean up those turnovers. On one end, you have Nate Stevenson, who's been kind of that gunslinging mentality, second in yards through the air in the conference, but also kind of up there in interceptions and touchdowns as well. I think he's second in pretty much every category there for quarterbacks. And then on the other end, you've got Carson Schmidt, who's a sophomore, trying to get a little more comfortable in that. You've seen him, his passing yards have looked all right. It's just trying to, again, get a little bit more used to that in-game action.
Yeah, these two teams really interesting to analyze in the prep for this game because they've got talent. I mean, Jamestown might be a little bit small on the offensive line, but they're really skilled there. I mean, Liam Fry, let's get ready to watch him run the football again. He had over 200 yards last week against Devil's Lake, but the one thing that's really holding these teams back from a super successful season is the turnovers. They both average 2 a game, and what Dickinson found out last week, especially in low possession games like I think tonight will be, turnovers have to be kept to just about 0.
Yeah, play clean, and it's going to be just fundamental football. Just trying to get back into that winning way for these two teams. Both these two teams coming into the season, according to the Pigskin and the coaches poll, were both projected to make the playoffs, as Jamestown was projected 3rd in both those polls, and Dickinson was in 4th. Well, now it's going to be getting closer and closer into the pre-game festivities. I believe we're almost ready to wrap up into tonight's national anthem. But before we get there, do we have any big kind of notes that you want to talk about, Owen, before we get into the official pregame?
Well, I think for Dickinson's offense especially is just to know they have weapons. I mean, they have some of the speediest receivers group in AA football, and I just think they need to use that to their advantage tonight against Jamestown. Should they be able to exploit that, I think they're going to have some success. Now, obviously, that comes with what you mentioned about Stevenson, where he's matching touchdowns with picks. It's got to be accurate. It's Leeson, it's Glosser, it's tight ends like Colby Fasthorse. I mean, everything is there for Dickinson to have a great passing game. It's just got to be on target, on time, and I think that would be their key to success tonight.
They arguably have maybe one of the best receiving corps in AA right now with Leeson, Glaser, Polens. But right now it's just trying to get them all in at that same game. We've seen a Caleb Polens game. We've seen a Paxton Leeson game. We've seen a Dylan Glaser game. But can Dickinson get them all on the same page one night? And if they can, this Dickinson team could be making a lot of headway through the air.
Yeah, and the other thing we really debated before kickoff today, Brock, was the fact that Dickinson, even though they're down to a number 2 running back, this is already his 3rd game, really, as a number 1 action in Wyatt Turner. I think that's someone they need to establish. They need to have a constant in the backfield. Their passing game has been a little hit or miss. If they have a constant rushing attack, that's going to be good. Jamestown has found theirs with Liam Fry. Now it's on developing the rest of the offense. So for Dickinson, just find a constant run game. For Jamestown, one explosive play might do the trick for a kid like Schmidt. He's a sophomore that has really struggled completing passes, but who knows what one big play will do for him.
Yeah, we're talking about a little bit by Wyatt Turner. Last year, he only had 5 carries at the varsity level. This year, up to 41, 227 yards. And he's a kid that, again, ended up getting into the starting role around week 2, week 3. And kind of the progress as we've seen him make each and every game. And we talked to Coach McLaughlin. He said he's just a hard-nosed runner. He's just the way he's built, hard-nosed runner. Then you got Caden Cheddar, who's a little bit more of that speed back. I think they kind of want to make it that Thunder Lightning role. Maybe Dickinson Trinity you see a lot of. Maybe you're trying to see the emulate it there across town with the Mavericks.
I think what the Mavericks love the most is Turner stands just 5'7". They say he hides behind the line, so Jamestown's got to find 23 as he's coming out of the backfield.
And that should be fun to keep an eye on. We are going to now head on over to tonight's national anthem here on the PSP Network. Dickinson, Jamestown about to kick off here at Charlotte and Gordon Hansen Stadium. That was tonight's national anthem here on the Valvoline Instant Oil Change pre-game show. Let's take a break. When we come back, we're having opening kickoff between Dickinson and Jamestown.
Nobody thinks about personal injury until it happens. But when injury strikes, so will your bills and the turmoil and everything you'll miss out on. It's a mess and you need someone to help it all make sense. That someone is Schweigert, Clemene, and McBride. We know the territory and the process, and we work smart and hard to get you results. It's easier to get back to normal knowing there's a team behind you. We're the ones the other side doesn't want you to call. We're on your side. We're Schweigert, Clemene, and McBride.
This presentation on the PSP Network is proudly brought to you by Follow PSP Network on all social media platforms. PSP Network, it's game day.
Welcome back in here to the pregame show as we wrap up the pregame show and get ready for kickoff between Dickinson and Jamestown. And it's going to be one of those where it could be a must-win game here inside the West region, as these two teams both 1-4, both teams 0-1. But kind of the thing that we talked about a little bit earlier, Owen, ended up being, hey, these two teams have Minot North on the schedule. Both teams, again, have that team that has the target on their back, maybe a tough game, so you got to try to get those other games in right away in your favor so you don't have to rely on the ones later on in the season.
Yeah, the month of October, especially from what we learned in AA football a year ago with obviously North, they had a lot of success, but teams like Valley City, teams like Dickinson really peaked or maybe even declined in some matters in the month of October. So even a 1-4 start, an 0-1 beginning to conference play, not the end of the world. A game like this kind of comes at a perfect time for both teams. A win today, and you can really start to look ahead and pick off some big wins because there's some strong opponents in the West region this year.
Apologize in advance. It was one of those things where it was one thing or the other. We had the scoreboard working, but we didn't have visual. Then we get the visual, and we don't get the scoreboard. So it's kind of one of those things. But I think the visual is going to be the better thing.
Yes, it is. This is all the first PSP broadcast from this facility here, Hanson Stadium in Jamestown. So still figuring it out.
Still a great vantage point up here on the top of the roof as they will kick it up left to right, caught up by Cheddar. Cheddar again, that lightning back goes up to the 25 before he meets a whole flock of Jays, and he's body slammed at the end of the play. A big-time hit there from Jagger Remick, almost WWE style there.
Yeah, that's one of those plays where whenever it happens, sometimes there's a flag that gets thrown. It's a little too wild, but hey, first play of the game, let's just get right into it, and no penalty on the play.
Hey, it's West Region football, okay? It's just a physical game, that's for sure. Well, here we're going to meet the starting lineup for Dickinson coming up after the first play. One receiver out to the right, one to the left. Leeson on the bottom of your screen, Glauser on the top. Stevenson hands it right off to Turner. Turner will work his way near the 27-yard line. Let's meet that starting offense for Dickinson. At the left tackle, it's the junior Jacob Britton, senior Colton Brown at left guard, center Cannon Dressler. Right guard, the junior Cale Thompson, and Cole Crossley at right tackle. Quarterback, the junior Nate Stevenson. Running back, Wyatt Turner got that first carry. Making his first start at tight end this year, Devin Height. And the wide receivers, they are incredible to watch. Dylan Glauser, Paxton Leeson, and Caleb Polens. Stevenson, little bobble, picks it up. He wants it all. He is going for Glauser. Up and over Glauser's head.
A few things just went wrong there for Dickinson on what could have been a giant play on their first possession. Obviously the snap throws off the timing a little bit with Stevenson. Secondly, throws a beautiful ball to Glauser, who maybe just kind of stopped striding out for that one. He was maybe one step away from that football. Otherwise, that would have been a giant play for Dickinson to get rolling.
Let's take a look at that Jamestown starting defense. Ryland Doctor and Jet Wharton as the defensive ends. The nose tackle of Cody Barrett. Linebackers Liam Fry, Mason Gibson, Bennett Gaynor, and Jagger Remick. Eden Scary and Graydon Thorkelson. Another snap goes off cue. Stevenson just going to have to pick it up at the 10. He's scrambling out, looks to throw. He's just going to have to keep it himself, trying to make do with it as he will work to the 22 before being pushed out by a couple of Blue Jays as Bennett Gaynor, one of the first ones to the punch.
Yeah, pretty impressive for Stevenson to make up all that ground that he did. The center, he's apologizing to Stevenson as they leave the field. That's the sophomore, Cannon Dressler, another young guy in this Mavericks team. Both teams are fielding a couple sophomores in the starting lineup. Just one of those things by week 6 you hope is pretty crisp.
Running out that starting defense, that we'll see Braden Heminger and Brady Anderson, one of the sophomores there as the safeties. as Braun back to punt. Puts up a nice spiraling punt that's going to drop right at the 50-yard line, get a friendly Dickinson roll. That will add in about another 18 yards off of it, rolling to the Jamestown 32. Well, Owen, what'd you like to see out of the Blue Jays' first offensive possession with a young quarterback?
I'd like to see Liam Fry touch the football like 6 times. This is a guy that ran for 218 yards on his own against Devils Lake. After non-conference, he was bottled up. They were trying to get Schmidt able to throw the football. They just gave Fry the rock against Devils Lake, and great things happened.
Schmidt in the shotgun. He will give it to Fry, as you mentioned, as he works to his right. For being bottled up by Jesse Hammond and Devin Height. Let's meet that starting lineup for the Jamestown Blue Jays. Of the tackles, Eli Olson and Cody Barrett. Junior Ryland Doctor at guard, as well as senior Jet Wharton. And the center is a junior of Jackson Morris. Quarterback, sophomore Carson Schmidt, Liam Fry, the senior running back. Tight ends, Jager Remick and Tucker Ellen. Cale Verkey and Seffi Saylor, the wide receivers. 2 receivers out to the right, 1 to the left on the top of the screen. They'll look over to the left, try a quick pass into the dirt. They were trying to work it onto that far side. I believe that is over there. It looks like Seffi Saylor.
Yeah, and the scouting report we got from Jamestown about Carson Schmidt, he's a guy that they feel most comfortable, obviously, throwing short routes. Nothing really downfield. And even right there, another piece of the scouting report was the ball is sometimes short. And again, it was right there to Saylor. He's their top target. Just put it right on the numbers if you can, and it's a solid gain of 5.
Well, 3rd and 7, back to a passing down. Colby Fasthorse providing the pressure. Gets a shot on Schmidt, who puts a nice ball right into the hands of Verkey, who picks up a first down.
Well, there you go. Confidence play for Carson Schmidt. Puts one right on the money to a wide open Cale Verkey. Obviously survives the hit there from Fasthorse. Moved the sticks, and now Blue Jays are on the move.
For 50 years, Ryan has been a trusted name for car buyers in western North Dakota. Shop their entire inventory at driveryan.com. Visit one of their 5 locations in Minot and Williston.
And even here, you might think pass on first down after the success of the last play, but I have to assume Fry's going to get another touch here soon.
Back in the hands of Schmidt. More pressure from Easton Blauer. He'll play it to Fry on a screen play. Tackled in, brought in by Nate Stevenson.
I guess I was right on both guesses right there. It's a screen pass to Fry. He's such a kind of compact but strong running back for Jamestown. Kind of a scary guy to take down. You look at those legs if you try and tackle him. That's pretty imposing there. Fry is a strong kid.
Well, if you're a Dickinson follower and you just said Stevenson with the tackle, yes, this is his first start on defense. This might be his first couple of reps on the season at defense. As Fry works behind the blockers, right behind Jager Remick as he powers in for 2 yards. Let's meet the Dickinson starting defense. Defensive line, Isaac Lowry, Cole Crossley, and Easton Blauer. This is Blauer's first time on the defensive line, making the change from outside linebacker to a D lineman. Outside linebackers, the Devin Height, Wyatt Turner, and Colby Fasthorse, who makes the move from the inside to the outside, and Nate Stevenson slots in as the middle linebacker. Paxton Leeson, Caleb Hollands, as well as Jesse Hammond and Dylan Glauser, the defensive backs. Schmidt back to throw. That one off the mark, intended for Seffi Saylor.
Yeah, I think Dickinson's defensive backs kind of understood the situation Jamestown's passing game is in. You had one route from Saylor that was cutting to the sideline and one route going over the top from Jager Remick. And after Remick got about 10 yards downfield, Dickinson kind of floated the underneath route. They didn't think Jamestown was going to throw that one over the top, even though Remick ran free.
Owen, were you a little surprised on that first possession for Jamestown? Lots of passing, as maybe Nelson was saying maybe they're going to be prepared for the run, try to get that sophomore quarterback a couple early throws in.
Yeah, really surprised, but honestly, I like the passing game there. It wasn't bad for Jamestown at all. I mean, that one completed pass and a few other good looks for the Blue Jays there, and obviously a long way to go in this first quarter even.
As Polans, who's so dynamic, just going to wave that one, and that is right where Dickinson will set up shop. Well, you've seen this Dickinson offense already once. What changes would you like to see going into their second drive?
Oh, I mean, first of all, just a clean snap. I mean, that's where it's got to start. 2 plays were thrown off a little bit by a bad snap, one that actually got past Stevenson, and they threw off the timing of both plays. So just the snap to start it for Dickinson.
Glauser is playing on the far side of the field. Now he's playing on the near side as they'll give the handoff to Turner. Turner met right away. A big-time tackle for Braden Heminger. That's his 35th tackle on the season. He had 7 of them against Devils Lake.
Yeah, he flew to the football right there, and Jamestown was almost down to 10 guys at the time of the snap. They had one running on late, but Heminger cleans up everything by himself right there on a gain of 2.
Some nice tackles right here. Some nice fundamental football on the defense for both teams early on.
Yeah, if the defense can lead the way today, I think for Jamestown, that's going to be strong. Keep this one low scoring. Keep Dickinson away from the explosive plays. It's going to serve the Blue Jays well.
8 minutes remaining in the opening quarter as Stevenson, 2 receivers out to his right. The junior quarterback drops back to pass. He's going to lob one up to Dylan Glosser. Just about another yard or 2 out of the length of Glosser, and that looks like that is kind of their game plan right now, trying to get number 2 in the white and orange some touches early.
I think that's absolutely right. Just test the deep ball early. I think Stevenson might have felt some pressure there in the backfield. Jamestown did a good job just kind of closing the pocket, even though they didn't get a hand on him, just making that pressure present for Stevenson. Kind of rushed that throw a little bit to Glosser. And they broke the huddle with 12. It's going to back him up to 3rd and about 13.
So too many men in the huddle. That is going to send Dickinson back a couple of yards with 7:41 remaining in the opening quarter.
Well, the good thing with this Maverick offense is they have the expectation they can pick up 15 yards at a time if they need to. So they keep going back to that same formation, 3 receivers to the wide side.
It's first time now Glosser is set up with another receiver on his side. The top of your screen set up with Leeson. Stevenson trying to evade a sack, but he will go down, brought down by Liam Fry.
And again, this play, you're going to see it on the replay, most likely. It starts with another snap off target. Stevenson had to catch it going left. It's only a little thing, but in a quarterback with the amount of things they have to process, that snap part, I mean, it should be almost mechanical. It throws him off, and Fry gets the sack, forcing a punt deep in Dickinson territory.
Well, Braun's last punt was pretty solid and had a nice 15-yard bounce, friendly bounce for DHS. Let's see what brings us up this time. This one end over end, and it's going to be caught at the 38. Going to be great field position for Jamestown.
Absolutely is, and I think this is a place where I know I'm probably going to wear this out tonight, but it's Liam Fry territory here early in the drive. Obviously, the passing game was a little bit short on that opening possession, but you only got 38 yards to cover here. Passing is going to be a more difficult inside the red zone should you get there, so got to start with 7.
Well, they're going to show out with 3 receivers up to the top, 1 lone and Allen on the bottom on the right. They'll sling it out to Seffi Saylor on a screenplay to the 30, picks up a first down, and there's another first down, but a late penalty marker thrown as Saylor was going tumbling down to the ground.
Yeah, usually when it's behind the play, likely a block in the back. I'm not sure if that's going to be the call here, but another instance of Jamestown getting the ball to Saylor as many times as they can.
It's going to be holding on the offense. Kind of where that ball was thrown. I mean, with the screenplay, holds in the sense you could maybe think of a, face mask, but no tackle was near the face there. So it's just have to limit down the options.
Yeah, wide receivers blocking, sometimes a little hit or miss.
2 receivers out to the left. Saylor, one of the main targets, is out on that left side. They'll give it to Fry. Breaks a tackle, continues to keep the legs churning near the 30. They'll mark him at the 32-yard line.
Yeah, Dickinson's number 1 key defensively today was stop the run, and they're doing a pretty good job of getting 4 or 5 guys to the football. That's going to be what it takes to bring down a running back like Fry today, but a nice gain of about 6 right there for Jamestown on what ended up being 1st and 10 again.
6:20 remaining in the first quarter. 2nd and 4 coming up for the Jays. Schmidt hands it back off to the senior. He's hit right away by Devin Height. Jesse Hammond helps bring him down. Height, the leading tackler for the Mavericks. And Hammond is a kid that has just racked up tackle after tackle. 28 tackles this season. Well, 29 now, but 26 of the 28 were in the last 2 weeks.
Good to see from a safety as well. That either means they're playing the run really well or they're making downfield tackles. So that's a good number to see for a safety like Hammond.
Yeah, first 3 weeks, only 2 tackles. Next 3 weeks, 26 tackles. I mean, that's a pretty good mark there for the sophomore. Schmidt on 3rd and short. Gives it back to Fry. Fry not going to get there. Maybe even just gets an inch right back to the initial line of scrimmage. a nice run-stopping play by the Dickinson front.
Yeah, I want to say that was Blauer with the tackle at the line of scrimmage. You mentioned the position change. A lot of movements for Dickinson. Seem to be quickly adjusting, though.
Yeah, that's kind of an interesting kind of change. We've seen the linebacker spot kind of have players fold in and out, different linebackers, but having Blauer shift from linebacker to D-line and getting Stevenson on the defense as well. Here's a 4th and 2 coming up. They're going to look to go for it here as Fry on the Wildcat works to the right side, and a big-time shoelace tackle for DHS keeps him short. As looks like there it was Wyatt Turner with the tackle.
I tell you what, that formation fooled nobody, including the Dickinson Mavericks. You put 2 tight ends here to the way they're running, and you line up Fry in a direct snap. Dickinson knew exactly where that play was headed, and they stop it for a loss and a turnover on downs.
Hey, Dawson McLaughlin, he was hitting all sorts of different buttons with when he was making his new roster on that defense, and right now it's clicking.
It sure is.
4:55 left in the first quarter. Stevenson in a scoreless contest. Back on the field. Quick little screenplay to Leeson. We've seen that plenty of times this year. This one going to go for a gain of 2. Gain of 2 for Leeson. We talked about them pregame. Leeson with those 2 yards, actually, Owen. That's what he needed to get to the 300 club this season in the receiving yard category. So 300 yards on the air for Leeson. Glauser has about 250, and Poland's in the around 150 club as well. So again, 3 dynamic options. And Ethan Luna, who's in motion, had a big day as well, a big touchdown catch last week. Stevenson, he's a dual threat quarterback. He'll keep this one on the ground. He needed about 7. He gets 9, moves the chains. That's the Dickinson's, was that the first or second first down of the contest?
I think it's their first of the entire game. And Stevenson, when the quarterback run game is important for him, he is a guy that's going to play inside linebacker defensively. He's fine taking hits. Early strong quarterback for Dickinson, so getting him moving forward instead of chasing down the snaps in the quarterback running game is going to be important.
Out of all 6 teams in the Western region, only 1 team has their top rusher as their quarterback, and it's Nate Stevenson with the Mavericks.
Now Palmer of Devil's Lake's doing a heck of a job there.
He has too. I mean, those are the 2 guys that lead the conference in passing and some of the best running quarterbacks in the conference as well. Bobbled pass intended for, look at those, Glauser on the far side. Be interesting. I'm curious to see how much we see of Ethan Luna. I mean, Ethan, I thought, had a great game. He had a big, I think it was a 70-yard touchdown catch against Watford City, and has been slowly, again, making a role for himself in this offense. Stevenson, 2nd 10. He's going to hand it off to the lightning back, Cheddar, as he flashes up the field for a 7-yard gain.
A nice pickup there for Cheddar. And again, the very start, it's a snap off to the left of Stevenson, and it was kind of snapped right into the awaiting arms of Cheddar before he could get going. A little hang up in the backfield, but still able to make something positive out of it.
Cheddar has had limited reps. That's his only 3rd carry of the season, but I think in the second half of the season, we're going to see a lot of Caden Cheddar. Cheddar in the I formation. 3rd and 3 for Dickinson at the 50-yard line. Stevenson runs in to his own teammate, trying to make the most of the situation. One of the highest flying yellow flags I think I've ever seen, Owen.
I think it's better that from our vantage point, we're above that flag today in Jamestown. But, I mean, Dickinson it's just the little things right now, running into your fullback, throwing things off on offense. They might get bailed out, though.
Face mask right on cue, Owen. They do get bailed out, and it's the first time they make their way into Blue Jay territory.
Yeah, I mean, for Dickinson, I mean, second quarter, you'd hope those things are ironed out because those can't sustain the entire game, the snaps off and running into your own running backs. But penalty's going to move them into Jamestown territory for the first time all evening, and it's time to just kind of hit restart on this drive.
Happens at the 2:50 mark remaining in the first quarter. Dickinson on their 3rd drive starting to see the wheels churn in the positive direction on offense. In a scoreless contest. They'll motion Cheddar out to the left. They're going to have a little swing play for him. Cheddar bounces out to the outside, wrapped up at the 30, and there he is as picking up a gain of 5 And right there, he's already doubled the amount of his touches what he came into the evening with.
Yeah, you spoke about Luna kind of stepping up last week against Watford City. Cheddar might be the guy today. I feel like having kind of that mystery piece almost that kind of gets hidden on film is something Dickinson could do, because not only are those 3 wide receivers they're top athletes, you can go down the list. Dickinson has a lot of playmakers that maybe don't get a fair amount of touches, but obviously make the important ones count.
You can use some of those guys as kind of decoys as well, as there's Stevenson, direct keeper for the quarterback, as he's going to power through for a first down. He's going to work into Serve Pro red zone right at the 15-yard line. A big run for Stevenson, a 15-yarder to be exact, and gets into the Serve Pro red zone. 24/7 emergency service trained technicians, advanced technology, fire and water cleanup and restoration. It's Serve Pro.
And even on that play, we've seen Cheddar get handed the football, thrown the football. That time gets a big block, sends a message to the Jamestown defense again to spring Stevenson downfield.
It is the Caden Cheddar drive in all sorts of different ways, as he's the lone back. Fakes going to the right. Now he'll pick up the ball at the left for being popped after a gain of 2.
Just counter play there for Dickinson. Try and get Jamestown to move to their left, run it back to the defense's right side, and not much on the first down gain, but there's been positive first down plays for Dickinson on this drive. Just get moving forward.
Cheddar's also on the hockey team for Dickinson, and one of the few kind of crossover players from hockey to football season.
I tell you what, I can see a lot of hockey in his football game right now, just by the way he's running some people over. Checking them into the football boards.
Hey, there you go. The smash mouth style here of Cheddar. Even though we heard he was the lightning back. 45 seconds, Stevenson scrambles out. He's going to go upfield, jukes out of a couple of Jay's shoes, and he continues to power forward near the goal line, stopped around the 2.
Stevenson, such a talented runner, because he's not going to go down just because he's told to. I mean, he runs over about 3 different Blue Jays and then gets help from the offensive line to push him to the 2-yard line. Really impressive run from Stevenson right there.
And for a first-year head coach, Dawson McLaughlin, you got to love those offensive linemen. Just follow the quarterback, continue to push him forward, and get right into striking distance with 20 seconds before the end of the opening quarter. They'll bring back Wyatt Turner into the mix. Instead, they will hand it off into the fullback, and he takes it in for the touchdown. A big touchdown run for Isaac Lowry.
Yeah, just when you think Turner behind the fullback, well, they hand it off to 45, and he's in for 6. Mavericks, right before the first quarter expires, they go up 6-0.
With 12 seconds remaining, there you see Lowry with the celebration after punching in on a 3-yard touchdown run. And the field goal is good from Braun. As with 7-0 with 12 seconds remaining in the first quarter when we return on the PSP Network.
Great news! If you're looking for a new vehicle, Ryan Family Dealerships has the best selection we've had in years. You'll find fantastic offers from Nissan, Honda, Chevrolet, Buick, GMC, Cadillac, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram.
Hold on. Ryan sells Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram?
Yes, we do, and we'd love to sell one to you. Visit one of our 5 convenient locations in Minot and Williston. Get your next vehicle from a name you know and trust. Ryan Family Dealership.
Dickinson drives down the field, got a little bit of help from a penalty call that kept their drive alive. And Caden Cheddar with a big-time drive, helping his team through the ground, through a reception, as well as a couple nice blocks. And it was Isaac Lowry who punches his way in for the touchdown. I believe that was his first carry on the season, and it ends in 6. Not a bad stat line.
Not at all, 1 for 1.
Braun now kicks it right to left. Across your screen is scooped up, and here comes a big-time return. Trying to find his way out to the outside, and does. One man to beat to the 30, the 20, the 10, and it's a kick return for the touchdown for Aiden Scary.
Well, they don't have to wait till the second quarter for the answer to the Jamestown Blue Jays. Just the ensuing kickoff. Scary flies to the end zone for 6.
On the very next play, there is Scary showing his speed. Goes all the way down the field for 6. That was a quick response there, Owen. Didn't have to even play an offensive snap.
Oh, he didn't. Now just the PAT to keep this one even.
As kicker gets on to the field of Chase Trout. Snap. Good hold for Verke. Trout sends it. No, looks like it's just wide, so 7-6. And that will be the end of the first quarter. Dickinson goes down the field, scores a touchdown on the very next play. It was Aiden Scurry with a kick return for a touchdown. 7-6 as we head on over to quarter number 2 on the PSP Network.
At Shots Crossroads, we make 8 gallons of homemade ranch dressing every day, so you can smother your dinner salad with it, dip those crispy golden french fries in it, and dunk your breaded chicken strips. You can even cover your... Wait, no. You can't put ranch on steak. Or can you? Shots Crossroads. Don't forget the ranch.
We want it all. We want our dog to fetch it.
Drop it.
And drop it.
Clean it.
We want to fix it ourselves. And actually fix it. We want to order the market price lobster. And know the market price of the lobster.
How much is... Whatever the market says.
Sadly, we can't have it all. Except at Sport Clips, where we check in with the pros in men's hair and totally check out with pure, uninterrupted relaxation. Sport Clips. It's a game changer.
7-6, Jamestown after their kick return for a touchdown by Aiden Scurry, booted out on over for Caden Shetter, looking for his own solid kick return as he is brought down at the 30-yard line. Tackle in by Seffi Saylor.
Yeah, nothing to complain about that last kick return by Cheddar. Obviously, it had to follow the show of Jamestown's kick return touchdown. So Dickinson, though, right where they want to be. In control of the ball right now on offense. They got their running game working with Cheddar in the backfield, with Stevenson as well. And, of course, the fullback Lowry finishing off in the end zone.
And also for Dickinson, obviously don't want to give up that kick return for a touchdown. But, hey, get a little bit more rest for that defense. Also, the PAT went wide, and so you're still up by 1.
Yeah, especially last year, a game that had so many points, but no scoring in the first quarter. Dickinson off to the stronger start.
Stevenson fakes it out one way to Turner. He's going to keep it himself, lowers the shoulder, and tumbles down. In on the tackle was number 5, Bennett Gaynor.
Jamestown defensively, we said about their offensive line, not the biggest offensive line in the WDA, and not the biggest defensive line in the WDA. That's why you're only going to see a 3-man front from them. 4 linebackers, a lot of safeties that make some tackles. So Dickinson has the chance to get a lot of second, third level of the defense runs against Jamestown, just based on the way the Blue Jays play that side of the football.
2 receivers out to opposite sides. Will hand it off right to Turner. Goes to his left as he will pick up a first down, and that ground game starting to come through. You saw Cheddar with a big-time drive last time, and now Turner starting to get his wheels turning.
What I liked about that last run from Wyatt Turner, he kind of got up to full speed by the time he got the football. A lot of running backs will do some hesitating and then turn it on once they get to the line of scrimmage, but Turner, it was right downhill, move the chains, and now work on the rest of the drive.
Also comes the note, seen a lot more of Tucker Broughton as kind of a blocking tight end on that line for Dickinson. They go right back to Turner, works to the left. He kind of runs into Broughton, who's trying to finish his man on the opposite side, and they collide a little bit. And I think you talked a little bit about that last drive where some things are just kind of going against Dickinson's favor. You've seen a couple bad snaps and then a couple of teammates running into each other on the Dickinson side here early on.
Yeah, and again, those things easily avoidable for them right now. And you got to just look at the board a little bit. 7-6 in the lead with the football. Just make this your best drive of the game and hopefully go ahead again by a possession or 2.
Glauser, the lone receiver, to the bottom. Turner attached to the right hip of Stevenson. They'll ask Leeson to come in on a jet sweep. They fake it to him. It's a keeper for Stevenson. He gets close to midfield. They'll call him at the Dickinson 49, just about 2 yards away from the first down marker.
And for Jamestown's defense, with the success Dickinson has had running the football, eventually they're going to throw it over the top. You just got to be ready if you're a Blue Jay corner right now for when Dickinson does decide to throw it deep, sitting right at midfield.
Oh, what are you saying? They're trying to lull the Jamestown Jays to sleep here a little bit?
Hey, Coach McLaughlin, he's an offensive guy, a wide receiver. I think he wants to give the ball down the field here to Elise and to a Gloucester at some point.
Well, here's 3rd and short. They'll keep it on the ground. Back to Turner. He's going to just kind of switch into just going behind. He just kept those legs churning as he got turned around. And they're going to say first down. Take a look at this on your Ryan Family Dealership instant replay as he right here hits a block, gets turned around, and just keeps the legs churning backwards and enough to get what he needs for the first down marker.
Yeah, needed to, got to. Simple as that.
Hey, not a yard less, not a yard more. Back to Gloucester being the lone receiver on the top of your screen, bottom of your screen, Leeson and Pullins. They'll motion Broughton from the left side of the line to the right. Snap gets away from Stevenson. He's trying to win the race there, but won't. The Jays win the race to the loose ball.
Looks like it was Bennett Gaynor that's going to slide and pick this one up, looking like a shortstop out there at the 32-yard line. And, well, Dickinson, the errors, while they were maybe minor early on, this one is absolutely catastrophic for the Mavericks in the second quarter.
Let's take a look at it here. I think this is the 3rd time a snap has got away from Stevenson. It was a close race, but Gaynor had that extra step ahead, and he was able to, again, as you mentioned, slide in like a shortstop, picking up that ball and give Jamestown great field position. Schmidt back through the air, going for Remick, almost picked off by Glauser.
Just that ball fluttered in the air so long. Remick, he was running towards the end zone and then had to come back for it. And the whole time, Glauser was tracking this. Really could have had an interception there. Hit both of his hands, but falls incomplete.
It's one of those things where I think it was Glauser kind of was guarding 2 guys for a majority of that route and ended up doing a good job of making sure that he gets a hand on that one to flex it down into the dirt. 8:44 remaining before half. Now they'll lob a pass for Fry over Fry's head, incomplete, and that will be 3rd down after 2 incomplete passes.
Yeah, and that's just a tough way to start a drive, no matter where you are on the field, is 2 plays and you haven't moved a muscle yet. It's 3rd down and 10. Obviously, it's 4-down territory for Jamestown, but you got to have something that you know is going to work right here on 3rd down and 10, especially your second drive you started in plus territory today.
As they'll be subbing in Aiden Scary. He was your player that scored the kick return touchdown. He's going to work on to the right side with Tucker Allen. Scary comes into the motion. They'll give him the ball. Works it to the left on the sweep. Tries to get around Pullins, who just gets enough to push him out of bounds.
That cheddar here for Dickinson had a great pursuit into the backfield, but Scary, the speed on display again, gets to the edge, gets upfield for 7 yards, sets up a 4th down and manageable for the Blue Jays.
No, and he has not had a carry all season, but I think after that kick return, I think he got put on a little bit notice there for Bill Nelson.
Yeah, he has earned a couple carries today, a couple catches as well.
4th and 3. Sophomore quarterback sees fast horse to the right, so he's going to throw it to the left to Fry, over Fry's head. Height had some good coverage and forced the incomplete pass and the turnover on downs.
Yeah, I really want to maybe get inside what the playbook was there for Jamestown. I feel like they were trying to go maybe tight end release there to Remick. There was no really outside receiver, and Schmidt was rolling that way, but the pressure got to him so fast he just flipped it back to the halfback screen to Fry, and I don't think that was really the play Jamestown intended. Maybe it was the underneath pass again, but another turnover on downs at the 25.
Well, if you're Schmidt, you roll to that right, and as soon as you turn to the right, you got Colby Fasthorse just waiting for you. The leading tackle for loss getter on Dickinson, not who you want to see when you turn over. Here comes the carry. Pullins puts it on the ground. It's Fry that scoops it up. And just like that, another fumble for Dickinson gives Jamestown another great shot at field position.
Now this takes a perfect bounce to Liam Fry, right into the arm, and it's a takeaway for Jamestown. I mean, for Dickinson, this is tough. That's the 11th turnover on the season. This is week 6, 11 turnovers now, but at the same time, your defense has stood the test as well. You're in the lead by 1. Jamestown has to beat you eventually. Obviously eliminate the turnovers, but just go right back to playing D.
Hand off to Fry, quick tackle there by Lowry, and Lowry Hayes got a touchdown, and there's a big TFL.
And you know what, Dickinson, just like we talked about Jamestown early, maybe they live and die by the defense today. You just keep piling up stops like this. Obviously, the offense needs to get that turnover part together, but if you can stop the Blue Jays again, I mean, Jamestown just has no momentum going right now on offense.
Well, you talked to head coach McLaughlin. He said, hey, our defense has kind of been struggling hit or miss throughout the season. We're really looking for them to step up. They have. They've had a really good contest so far. Schmidt hunted down by Fast Horse, and Fast Horse will get him. Ball on the ground, but looks like it's whistled.
Yeah, Fast Horse didn't really wrap up Schmidt at all, just kind of shoved him to the ground, and then that crash into another player able to hang on to the football, looks like on that replay, but another play for negative gain for the Blue Jays. They start in the red zone, but they're back to the 23.
Well, I think for Fast Horses watching that replay, I think he thought Schmidt was in the process of throwing that ball, so just kind of tried to throw the hands out there, and Schmidt ends up saying, I'm just going to hold on to it, and gets shoved right into the dirt. 3rd and long, 3rd and 15 with 7:28 before the half. Schmidt goes back to throw, almost gets hit, throws a 50-50 ball. Saylor almost had it, but broken up by Wyatt Turner.
Another one where he had his guy. Sephi Saylor, he's going to break right to the goal line. You put this out in front of him, this is a touchdown. Right there, but he throws it just a little bit behind. Defensive back makes a great play to break it up, and Jamestown is forced to a 4th down and 14 yards.
4th and 15, 7:21 remaining in the second. Jamestown was handed a gift with some nice field possession, twice on 2 back-to-back fumbles for Dickinson. Seeing if they can come up with a big 4th down conversion. Schmidt rolls to his left, looking, he's got a man, and Remick adjusts to the catch, it's in for the touchdown. Jager Remick was looking everywhere for that ball as it just floated in the air, and he caught it in for 6.
Well, Jamestown, they get to a 4th down and 14, and they connected on one. They've had open receivers today. It was just a matter of making that catch. The throw, again, not perfect, but he put it to the right spot. No player could make a play on it for Dickinson defensively, and Remick, the touchdown catch, a little bit miraculously there halfway through the second quarter.
He looked to the left, he goes back to the right, and then he kind of did like a little half spin to catch it back on the left side. But hey, 6 is 6, and Remick definitely made that kind of acrobatic play.
Now they go for 2 to try and make the 7-point game. Jamestown has had a lot of troubles in the kicking game.
They're just going to go for 2, as you mentioned. They'll fake the handoff to Fry, go back through the air, and they try to go back to Remick, but it is tipped by Dylan Glosser, keeping it a 12-7 Blue Jay lead after the Remick touchdown. A nice pass from Schmidt. 7:15 remaining before half as Dickinson gets the ball back when we return.
For decades, Nodak Insurance Company has been serving our state's residents in good times and challenging times. We come together for the greater good, from simple acts of kindness to company-wide efforts that make a difference in our community. It's who we are, rooted in North Dakota and ready to serve when it matters most. Nodak Insurance Company, agents with answers.
Darren Johnson.
Jamestown gets some help after coming up with a fumble. Picks it up, puts it in now into the end zone on a 4th and 15. Converts it to perfection, puts themselves up by 5. But for Dickinson, hey, you held them off of a PAT, you held them off of a 2-point try. Those points could come back to maybe hurt the Jays later on, but that's just going to have to be wait and see.
Yeah, for Dickinson, though, I mean, the obvious things are to fix right now, the turnovers. It hurt them against Watford City, 3 turnovers on just 7 offensive possessions in that football game, and already you've given Jamestown too many opportunities. They finally cashed on one.
As Trout sends it right into Cheddar, who bobbles it, picks it up at the 20. Works to the 25, follows behind a blocker, and makes do into the 34. So, hey, don't worry about the bobble. Another nice return from Cheddar.
Oh, we're up here in the clouds tonight. It is not raining in Jamestown, but it's kind of just one of those things that Dickinson's kind of got it like the sickness right now, coughing up the football. Obviously, Stevenson, if he can really right this ship on offense for the Mavericks, that'll be big for them.
Sometimes it's just the stadium. Whatever's around it. I see some teams at certain places just have one of those weird, awkward days, and right now Dickinson kind of in that boat trying to work their way out of it. Stevenson hands it off to Cheddar. He's almost trying to break a tackle, but will not be able to as Colton Blackmore ended up grabbing that jersey and would not let go.
The Blue Jays obviously picking up some momentum of their own on defense after that touchdown drive. Take the first lead, now hold on to it by pushing the Mavericks back on first down.
12-7 Jays lead, 6:44 remaining in the second, so almost halfway through quarter number 2. Loss of 3 on the play. 2nd and 13 for Dickinson. Jays emulate some pressure. We'll see if it comes. No, it will not. Stevenson sits in the pocket, sees a door open. He's going to throw one, trying to heave it to the direction of Leeson. It was off course and goes incomplete, setting up 3rd and long.
And right after that pass, Stevenson is talking to Caleb Pullins, it looked like. Whether it was miscommunication on the route or maybe to block for Stevenson, but he had Leeson downfield, just led him too far. Pressure gets to Dickinson right there, and now they got to convert a 3rd down and 13.
3rd and 13 here on homecoming night for the Jays. See if they can end homecoming week with a win, and right now lead nearing the halfway mark of the contest. Stevenson on 3rd and long. Settles into the pocket, slings one into Ethan Luna, well at the 41, and now is going to give McLaughlin maybe a little bit of a opportunity to make a decision. Are you going to go for it on about 4th and 4?
I'm thinking yes. Part of me thinks if I'm in his position, no. If I can push Jamestown back and force that offense to go 70, 80 yards, I'm going to rely on my defense to make that stop. But, I mean, talking to McLaughlin, he seems like a guy who's absolutely going to take a 4th down and 3 situation right here at the 41-yard line.
So you would play the field position battle. Well, McLaughlin, he's looking to roll the dice here with this offense. 4th and 3, but before it happens, McLaughlin wants to think about it a little bit more.
Not only that, there was 1 on the play clock.
I didn't even catch that. That was a good catch there, Owen, as we are going to take a quick timeout with Dickinson when we come back. A big 4th down coming up for the Mavericks. Dickinson faced with a 4th down in Jamestown territory, but they're nearing midfield. Ball at the Jamestown 41, and it looks like signs are pointing towards McLaughlin and the Mavericks going to go for it on 4th and 3. Owen, what would you like to see out of this Mavericks offense?
Well, I mean, get it to your big play guys. I know it's only 3 yards right now, but the running game was stopped by Jamestown earlier on this possession. If you feel confident, maybe a read option here with Stevenson making that decision on his own, maybe run it as well. Could be in the cards.
Draw Leeson into motion. Low snap. Stevenson is going to keep it. He powers through, and he's going to get it 1st down for Stevenson.
Yeah, and their wide receivers obviously can make plays, but one of their best, where's number 5, and is their quarterback. Whether it's with the arm, with the legs, they're confident he can pick up 4, and he does.
As you mentioned, McLaughlin willing to roll the dice. Rolls them right there. With 6 minutes remaining here in the second quarter. They're down by 5. A touchdown will put them back up. Right now nearing midfield. Stevenson on the misdirection, gives it on to Cheddar. Nice patient run, but only going to get a yard out of it.
Jamestown flows to the football there. Better job stopping the run defensively on this drive. No gashing runs right now. They've given up to the Dickinson Mavericks on the ground.
Cheddar will head out towards the sideline, so more than likely indicating that Turner is back in, and yes, indeed. So they'll substitute that lightning back in for more of a power bruising back. Stevenson going to motion Turner out to the left. They look in his direction. They pump fake. Got a wide open receiver. It's Clauser to the 20, the 10. One man to beat. He's into the end zone for 6.
Not entirely sure where the mishap was defensively for Jamestown. It looked like they had matched up. They put Leeson and Gloucester on the same side, did the Mavericks, and Jamestown seemed to have had it covered, but somebody just got traded off wrong, and Gloucester was wide open after that pump fake.
There's probably someone back in the Dickinson area that said, oh my God, they did the play again. They did the play again. And that play has been working out to perfection. And there is Braun, who kicks it through. And just like that, Dickinson goes up 14-12. Or excuse me, I hit the wrong one here. I'm so used to hitting Dickinson as the home team. And so a little bit of muscle memory there, but no, 14-12. Dickinson takes it after the touchdown. A nice little pump fake, works it up to Gloucester. And again, they've been playing that play quite often. Each and every week, they've used it at least once. So hey, might as well if it works.
Did you get that Ryan Family Dealership replay of that last touchdown so we can maybe see what happened here? I think it was just biting on the pump fake. Yeah, the corner on the outside looks like he comes up to cover Turner out of the backfield, and that left Gloucester wide open down the field. So, yeah, no safety over the top as the corner came up.
And we've seen that with a couple different times where they'll use Leeson as the decoy. They fake it to Leeson. They give it to Polens on that big play, and it's one that they've kept in the back pocket if they need a big kind of touchdown at that kind of point of the field. Hey, they work it right back into that back pocket, 14-12. Braun pushes it back left to right. Caught by Saylor as Seffi Saylor works it into the 30. Saylor sails right ahead to the 36-yard line.
Jamestown will take over at the 36. It's been a lot of passing here in the first half for the Blue Jays, and a lot of underneath passes as well. They've been going to Fry on the running back screen more often recently.
1st and 10 on the new drive. Fry works to his right, brought down by Devin Height with a gain of 3. So Lowry will also in the mix. Lowry's had a really solid game offensively and defensively for the Mavericks.
This is the kind of game for him. A little bit of just trying to run the football against one another and making plays in the backfield.
Schmidt sends it back in to Seffi Saylor, follows Remick. He's going to wrestle his way for a big-time gain, works it up to the 46-yard line.
Saylor on the season averages just about 10 yards per catch, and they give it to him right on the line of scrimmage, and then it's yak for Saylor yards after the catch that he's riling up this season.
For Dickinson, I don't even have the guy that they have making the tackle on my lineup sheet there. Maybe a jersey change or something of that nature, but number 36 making the tackle. Quick play out to the opposite side. They go back to Saylor. Saylor takes his shot and will be eventually brought down by Gloucester coming in to finish the deal.
Maybe a little slow to get up after that hit. Kind of looked like it was right in that rib area.
As injury timeout going to be taken on the field for Jamestown. We're going to take a break with them right here on the PSP Network.
When facing disaster, it's not just the things we lose, but the memories. But there's hope. ServPro, with decades of experience in Minot and Bismarck, is always ready. Our certified professionals don't just restore homes, they rebuild lives. Because to us, you're not just a client, you're family.
We want it all. We want our dog to fetch it.
Drop it.
And drop it.
Name it.
We want to fix it ourselves. And actually fix it. We want to order the market price lobster. And know the market price of the lobster.
How much is... Whatever the market says.
Sadly, we can't have it all. Except at Sport Clips, where we check in with the pros in men's hair and totally check out with pure, uninterrupted relaxation. Sport Clips. It's a game changer.
Seffi Saylor walking off on the field after back-to-back receptions, but took a little bit of a shot on that last one. Tonight's game brought to you by Minot State. The best way to predict your future is to create it with over 100 areas of study at Minot State. Whether create your career of your desire with more than 96% of recent Minot State grads employed or continuing their education. MSU grads get jobs, period. Minot State University. Be seen, be heard, be you. Fry wrestles it off with height, then takes a shot from fast horse, but it looks like a flag on the play. Speaking of Minot State, hey, you go to Minot State there, Owen.
I do, and their football team is on the road this week in Moorhead. I'll be out there tomorrow after a big win. That's just their first win, but a big win last week against Bemidji.
Oh, so you're out on the road trip, huh?
I am, yeah. Making a little pit stop in Jamestown here.
Hey, more football. Hey, you can't complain with that at all.
Nothing wrong with that.
Well, there's going to be a penalty that's going to work them back another 10 yards.
And we'll say about our little pit stop here in Jamestown is we've been treated very well. This is our first football game here. I know we covered one baseball game in Jamestown last season. Trying to get out and about. Athletic Director Jim Rollinson, I mean, incredible press box we could have been in, but allowing us to go up on the roof today.
As Schmidt takes a shot from Height, and Height and Fast Horse have looked really good this season, but they've looked extremely good in this contest.
Yeah, defensively, Dickinson has played a really good game this year, and I think that's tonight, and I think that's what Coach McLaughlin was hoping for, and that's what he's seen.
Schmidt looks on over, back to Seffi Saylor, who returns as he's wrapped up by Glaser. Glaser wraps him up. It's going to be a 4th and long. On the way for the Jays, 4th and 21 as we enter into 3 minutes remaining before halftime. Dickinson leads 14-12 on a beautiful night here in Jamestown. Ball skips in to the punter's hand to Thorkelson, but he's not going to get the punt off. Height with a big-time hit.
Well, it kind of works what Jamestown has been doing most of the game. It works in Dickinson's favor this time around. Thorkelson, the punter, fields the snap on a hop and has no choice but to at least hold on to the football there, avoid a touchdown, but great field position for Dickinson.
Hey, their defense, their special teams making some plays here for DHS. Puts them up into great field possession. Starting the drive at the 30-yard line.
At 2:45 left, it should be a sufficient amount of time, but you do have to keep that in mind with 2 timeouts.
Back into Cheddar, who tries to work his way near the 25. They'll give him to the 27. Gain of 3.
Coach McLaughlin going to wait for what in college ranks you'd get as kind of that 2-minute timeout to start worrying about his own clock stoppages here. Obviously, we don't have that in high school football. It's just going to keep running.
Ball works in now to the 2:20 mark. Ball right on the orange part of the U of the University of Jamestown Jimmies. Schmidt hands it off to Turner. Jets upfield, picks up the first down into the Serve Pro red zone. And there's Turner with a big carry.
Yeah, quiet start a little bit for Wyatt Turner today. He's been sharing the carries tonight with Cheddar, but there's a big run, sets up first down inside the Serve Pro red zone.
Inside the Serve Pro red zone, 24/7 emergency service trained technicians, advanced technology, fire and water cleanup and restoration. It's Serve Pro. 2 receivers out to the left. Glaser, lone one out to the far or to the near side. They'll bring in Leeson into motion. Fake it to Leeson. They're going to keep it with Stevenson on the ground. A quarterback designed run goes for a gain of about 9.
Right at the line to gain. They needed a 7-yard line. It's going to be really close for Stevenson there. The one thing you got to worry about if you're Dickinson right now, just hold on to the football. You know the Blue Jays are going to be attacking it, especially with the success they've had at getting takeaways tonight.
Well, you see, just ran onto the field. The fullback, Isaac Lowry, he's got a touchdown already. We'll see if he's going to be used on one of these short yardage situations as they get closer to the goal line.
About 2.5 a yard right now for Dickinson.
Stevenson pats the helmet, gets under center. Hands it back into Lowry. He muscles on ahead, and we'll wait. Touchdown for Lowry. 2 carries, 2 touchdowns. Not a bad contest here for Lowry.
And this is time from long distance. 7 yards out on the fullback dive, just trying to get the first down while Lowry's thinking touchdown.
Let's take a check at this again. Just keeps the legs churning and does not go down. You gotta love a good fullback dive. Stevenson with the hold. Bronze kick. Lots of rotation as he nets it in for the point as Dickinson goes up 21-12 with 50 seconds remaining before halftime. As we'll take a break, we'll have the remaining 50 seconds coming your way when we return on the PSP Network.
At Shots Crossroads, we make 8 gallons of homemade ranch dressing every day, so you can smother your dinner salad with it, dip those crispy golden French fries in it, and dunk your breaded chicken strips. You can even cover your... Wait, no. You can't put ranch on steak. Or can you? Shots Crossroads. Don't forget.
Dickinson goes down and scores a fullback dive touchdown with Isaac Lowry, his second touchdown of the night. Now they kick it back, and Jamestown already has a kick return for a touchdown. This time they're going to keep it low, but picked up by Scary, who has that touchdown. He works to the far side of the field, works it into the 39. Scary, though, dynamic on the return.
Yeah, still a really nice return out to the 39-yard line. You think if you can just hit one downfield pass on this drive, you might set yourself up for a shot at the end zone. And obviously, Jamestown, I do believe they're going to get the ball to start the second half. So you could possibly get 2 scoring drives back-to-back and maybe flip the script on this football game. But you got to hit one downfield shot early in this drive with just 44 seconds.
44 seconds before half. They'll bring in Saylor in motion. They're just going to keep it on the ground to Fry, see what can happen as Cheddar wraps them up, a gain of 3.
Yeah, remember they have 3 timeouts in this second quarter still. A little drive starter there to Fry. Get your feet moving forward for the Blue Jays. However, clock is still running. They haven't used a timeout, and they're down to 24 seconds.
Well, we'll see how this kind of gets played out. Maybe they're just fine with going down by 9 before halftime. They'll give it back to Fry. He's not going anywhere. Team tackle there up front for Dickinson as time continues to roll down.
I don't think they're going to snap it again. It's at 5 at the moment, and Jamestown, I don't blame them. It's been a pretty wild first half of football. Kick return touchdowns, turnovers everywhere. You never know what that last play could bring. Just go to the break, down 9, not the end of the world. You're going to get the football to start the third quarter, though.
So end of the first half, Dickinson leads 21-12. We're headed on to the Charbonneau Car Center halftime show when we return on the PSP Network.
This presentation on the PSP Network is proudly brought to you by social media platforms. PSP Network, it's game day.
Dakota Community Bank and Trust, your trusted partner for commercial and business loans. We not only provide lending you need to grow your business, but we also reinvest in our communities. We believe in strengthening our businesses and creating opportunities for success. Choose Dakota Community Bank and Trust for your commercial and business loans, and together let's keep our communities thriving.
Serving the
Planning for the future is difficult, but pre-planning your funeral is a thoughtful way to ease the burden on your loved ones. At Stevenson Funeral Home, our compassionate team will help you create a personalized plan that reflects your values. We'll make sure that your wishes are honored and that your family will have peace of mind in a challenging time. Call us today to start your pre-planning journey. You can count on us to be with you every step of the way. Stevenson Funeral Home.
When facing disaster, it's not just the things we lose, but the memories. But there's hope. ServPro, with decades of experience in Minot and Bismarck, is always ready. Our certified professionals don't just restore homes, they rebuild lives. Because to us, you're not just a client, you're family.
21-12 as Dickinson leads over Jamestown at the half. As you can see just a little bit of a French fry mascot here in Jamestown. A lot of stuff going on here, Owen.
Not even sure what it was promoting, to be honest. French fry got a football, though.
Well, he might be in camera motion here. He's getting close, so maybe we'll try to reel in the French fry, who's throwing some T-shirts now down here. You gotta love North Dakota football. You just never know what's going to happen.
We did not know what we were in store for tonight in Jamestown, broadcasting from the roof.
Hey, you can start to see it. You can start to see it.
Throwing out some T-shirts tonight to the great crowd in J-Town.
Hey, there we go. There's a solid shot of the French fry. I didn't even know they made French fry mascot costumes, but hey, you learn something new every day.
I tell you what, that's pretty close to my favorite potato-themed mascot ever. I can't go against my Minot Hot Tots, but French fry one, pretty good.
Hey, maybe you should get to your connections and have a French fry option as well. You have two. You got the hot tot and the French fries.
I don't know how many fried potatoes I can handle.
Could go with mashed potatoes. You can just continue to go down the list. Well, the first half of action goes in the books as we enter into the Charbonneau Car Center halftime show. So let's take a look at it here at Charbonneau Car Center. They know drivers in Dickinson, New England, Richardson, Belfield, Wilson, North Dakota, and Glendive, Montana work hard, play hard, and need a car that can keep up. That's why they choose to offer Buick, GMC, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram lineup at their dealership in Dickinson. If you're interested in learning more, stop into their showroom and treat yourself to a test drive. You can visit them online at CharbonneauMotors.com. Well, let's start rewinding, Owen, and this one a very eventful first half. I don't know if you got all of the turnovers and some of those other wacky plays, but let's go into the first quarter and talk about some of the scoring drives.
Well, I got quite a bit about that first half for you, Brock. We had 2 scores in the first quarter, nothing, though, until there was 12 seconds remaining in it. 12 seconds out for the second quarter beginning. Isaac Lowry, a fullback dive for a 2-yard rushing score. First carry of the season is his first touchdown. 7-0 Dickinson at that point. The ensuing kickoff, Aiden Scary takes it to the house. Jamestown gets on the board. They miss the PAT wide right. They go down by 1, and it was Jamestown who would get on the board next. 7 minutes, 10 seconds to go in the second quarter. A heave to the end zone on 4th down and 14. They find Jager Remick in the end zone. He was looking in the lights, looking in the twilight sky for the football, and came down with it. Jamestown, their only lead of the game was at that point 12-7. Dickinson would respond after back-to-back possessions that ended in fumbles. Eventually one would lead to that Jamestown scoring drive. They go down the field, get a huge play, near 50-yard touchdown pass to Dylan Glauser. Kind of a broken play in coverage defensively, left him wide open. And Dickinson went back in front 14-12. And to tack on one more before halftime, Lowry on his second carry of his career, his second touchdown, this time from 7 yards away from the goal line. And we go to halftime. Dickinson 21, Jamestown 12.
Very eventful first half. And as you mentioned, I want to rebound to the end of the first quarter. I mean, you're thinking, oh, it's going to go 0-0. Maybe then, you see Dickinson score the touchdown. Dickinson's going to go to end to the second quarter up on top, and then Jamestown comes in with a touchdown of their own on the very next play.
Yeah, it was kind of that sequence that started off the crazy that was our first half today in Jamestown. Other than that, it was kind of just, okay, run the football, feel out the passing game a little bit, and then punt the football away. Nobody was really gaining any ground on offense. Dickinson had the long drive. Jamestown the quick answer. Then the Mavericks fumble on back-to-back possessions. Then there's a bad snap on a punt for Jamestown. Dickinson tackles them in plus territory and scores off of that. And there have been a lot of other plays that could have resulted in turnovers that have been saved by the offense. And I think it was really those back-to-back scores that really kind of set ablaze this first half.
Well, we talked a little bit about the turnovers and some of these other things that kind of happened. What would you say would be your keys to the game, the keys to the second half to try to end this one in the win column? And first of all, let's start off with the team that's trailing and the team that is having a homecoming weekend in Jamestown.
Well, I mean, it's just play consistent. We've seen their defense at times really give up ground in the running game. That first scoring drive for Dickinson just ate them alive. And at other times, we've seen them get the initial push against Dickinson. Same thing goes offensively. They just need to be a little more consistent. I know they've got young players, but this is also kind of their third and fourth game to get in the hang of it. So finding the consistency all around for the Blue Jays might be the help here. And obviously, I think after going into the halftime, telling yourself, we're not going to even try and score before the break, I think coming out with the football, they need to find some points in any fashion.
Now for Dickinson right now, you'll see Braun over here just kicked, I think was that a 35-yard field goal. Looks pretty good too. I think that probably could have been good from about 40. So for them, again, they have an option where if they don't settle in a touchdown, they have a guy that they can rely on as well. But what would be your keys for Dickinson to try to maybe hold on to this lead in the second half?
Oh, let's just play a clean second half. You know, all the things that happen in the first half of this football game that have been reminiscent of their troubles all season long happened. I mean, it was basically a continuation of that Watford City game in the first half. Turnovers, a couple of explosive touchdown plays, but if you can just eliminate that, don't give Jamestown any easy chances, and just play a clean half of football, I think Dickinson should be able to get out of town and back home with a W tonight.
One thing I do want to mention here is, again, make the most of good field position. We've seen both these two teams start drives around the 30-yard line. I think Jamestown, is what, maybe 1 for 2 with that, and Dickinson, I think, is kind of around that same mark. So you need to be able to take advantage when you're handed a gift.
Absolutely. Yeah, Jamestown, that first fumble where they didn't score on, you feel like Dickinson could have really rebounded, but they didn't. They gave Jamestown another chance, and they cashed in. So obviously that's what keeping the Blue Jays around in this football game.
More yet to come on the Charbonneau Motors halftime show, and when we come back, we're going to take a look at scores around our great state.
Whether you're looking for a full-service financial plan or planning for farm or business succession, Planning Team Financial Advisors is here to help you work toward achieving your financial goals. With locations in Bismarck, Garrison, and Center, our full-service team of professionals are dedicated to helping you work towards achieving your financial goals. Visit us online, planningteam.com.
Securities offered through LPL Financial, member of FINRA SIPC. Investment advisory services offered through New Edge Advisors LLC, a registered investment advisor. New Edge Advisors LLC and Planning Team Financial Advisors are separate entities from LPL Financial.
Since 2003, the architects and engineers at Ackerman Esvold have been enhancing everyday life. From response times to commute times, we've helped create critical infrastructure, enhancing highway safety, flood protection, and public education. And we're no stranger to enhancing fun, family outings, and even game time. Ackerman Esvold, working to enhance your everyday life.
Dickinson leads 21-12 as we get ready for the conclusion of the halftime show and get ready for the second half. Owen, let's start taking a look at scores around AA, and then we'll get a little bit in the wider scheme of things.
Yeah, on the PSP Network tonight, 2 AA football games. Of course, you're watching one right now, 21-12, Dickinson leading Jamestown. But in Bismarck, Devils Lake, a 2-touchdown lead over the St. Mary's Saints, 28-14, still in the second quarter. I was kind of thinking we might be on upset alert. I feel like this St. Mary's team is going to break out of whatever slump they're in. Great running back there in Beckett Price. He's almost at 1,000 yards this season, but Mason Palmer doing the thing again for Devils Lake, making plays everywhere. Quarterback, defense, running the football. Firebirds ahead by 2 touchdowns.
Well, that's a Devils Lake team that was projected 5th in the West region. Right now, looking like that second team. Yeah, they've moved from the East to the West after a lot of jumbling around. You had Valley City leave to go down a class. You had Kindred and Central Cass join the East, and that kind of kicks Devils Lake over to the West. And I think it's going to take some time to think of Devil's Lake in the West region.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like the West gets further east every single year in high school football.
Well, now let's take a check on over a couple other the AA scores. Again, Grand Forks Central leads over Wapton 42-14. Then you got Kindred over Fargo South 29-3. Central Cass, Grand Forks, Red River tied 7-7 nearing halftime. And as you mentioned, Minot North all over Watford City 40-0. And that Watford City team, they have some great options there on the ground. But it looks like Minot North has figured out that interesting kind of wing T formation.
Yeah, and Minot North, I mean, they are a sound rush defense team. A lot of the credit might go to the rush offense, but defensively, Minot North is the best there is in AA football.
Let's take a look at the Friday night football graphic on your screen, brought to you by Bones Barbecue Sauce. Those are our games there on the day. And for AAA right now, Bismarck leads over Mandan 41-7, and Legacy over Minot 28-12. Owen, have you been to Bones Barbecue over in Minot?
I have. They got one right next to campus. I think I've visited that one time, and I do approve of what Bones Barbecue, anything on the menu, is very good if it has the barbecue sauce on it.
Okay, so see, if it has the barbecue sauce, Zach and I are big fans of the barbecue sauce. We ended up seeing the Bones Barbecue the graphic with Bones Barbecue on there. We said we need to go and get some barbecue sauce.
Yeah, come up to Minot. I think they got 2 locations up there now. I know the ad read says put it on vegetables. I dared Bryce Gutnick to do that. He hasn't reported back to me about the barbecue sauce on the broccoli, so I assume it still tastes pretty good.
I think that barbecue sauce might make me want to actually eat vegetables.
There you go.
It's just so good. We'll take a look at a couple other scores. AAA, Owen Shanley might be getting defeated tonight. Davies right now leads at the half 28-6 in your number 1 versus your number 2. And how many times has we had 1 versus 2 this year? I mean, especially at AAA, it seemed like we've at least had it like 2-3 times.
Yeah, well, we had 4 different number 1s this year. It started with Cheyenne, and you know, where have they really gone this season? I know they can probably bounce back and make a postseason appearance. Then it was Davies, then Legacy beat them, and then Shanley. They went to number 1, but it looks like Davies might have it back unless the Deacons, that explosive offense, can get it together again against the Eagles.
Take a look at some 11A scores. Langdon area Munich, they're number 1 in 11A, 20-7 over Carrington is where they lead. Taking a look at Region 4, which we cover a lot in the Dickinson area. Central McLean leads over Bowman County 12-6. I know I was kind of a big fan of both those two teams when they played Dickinson Trinity this year, and Region 4 is very fun to watch this year. So many different teams that I think are capable of making the playoffs, and maybe a few that are going to be snubbed missing the playoffs.
Yeah, Killdeer, I mean, they're a team that can put up 50 any night. I know they played a really interesting game against Trinity, and I'd like to see them play that game again. If they can meet up in the postseason, I think that's going to be some must-see football. Yeah, so one of those snubs, whether it's Central McLean, whether it's Beulah, whether it's Southern McLean, probably playoff caliber teams this year, but one of them is going to have to miss out.
What do you mean a normal game? You don't want to see it, Killdeer, Dickinson Trinity get run back again on finishing up a game on Monday?
Well, let's not resume it on a Monday anymore. Let's play it on a Saturday afternoon somewhere, whether it's Killdeer, whether it's Trinity, both on turf. There's not really much of an advantage there that anybody's going to gain. I think Killdeer Trinity might be some phenomenal football if they can play it in a 24-hour window.
I've never seen something like that. I've seen it for baseball and softball. I've seen a softball game get resumed a week later or weeks later, but I have never seen a football game in that time, especially when Trinity has to finish a game on Monday and then play another game on Thursday. But all done with the 11A talks. Let's get back into AA as Dickinson, Jamestown setting up to be a very fun close out to the night here in the final 3 quarters of play, or 2 quarters of play. Well, Scary and Sailor back there. Scary has already returned 1 to the house. What's the odds he does it a second time, Owen?
You know, that was a pretty good return to end the first half even for him. I assume they're going to be kicking this one towards Sailor, the other return man.
Well, Braun going to kick it in between the two. It's going to go actually into Scary's hands at the 10-yard line. He's going to sail on ahead to the 20. Looks like 8 they'll mark him at.
Yeah, pretty nice tackle there in the middle of the field. That was Wyatt Turner that brought him down. Starts this Jamestown drive, the 28.
Aiden Ho also in on the tackle. I thought Aiden had a very solid game last week. I think he had the most playing time and most reps he had on defense last week when he made the start. And now is just kind of back into that role where so many buttons are being pushed on defense. Every week there's a different starting linebacker. Maybe it's just kind of situational football, what's on the other end. As now playing out the outside of Fry, he'll be tackled on over. Poland's helped with the tackle.
Well, does Jamestown get as aggressive in this second half as they were in half number 1 throwing the football? I think you have to, especially down by 9 at this point. There haven't been a lot of, back-to-back scoring drives. You might have to go through the air a lot, but I still think there's that consistency in the short passing game and just handing it off to Liam Fry.
Well, it's an empty backfield here, Owen. It looks like it's a passing down potentially. They'll look to Fry on a little swing play. He bobbles it, brings it back in. Pollins will wrestle him, but he does fall forward. It looks like that's going to be bringing up about a 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3 situation for the Jays.
Yeah, with everybody spread out, Dickinson brought the pressure, and Schmidt did a good job of getting that ball out of his hand quickly. A little bit of a bobble, maybe use the defender as some help there to keep that one around, and Fry able to get forward to the 36.
Make it 3rd and 2 when everything's said and done, and now you'd expect maybe Fry to get another shot at it here on the ground. No, they're going to fake it to him. Schmidt sends one into the dirt. Is it a live ball or not? We'll see what the ref says. Dickinson pointing that they have the football, and they have the football. They're going to say Dickinson there, and was it an incomplete pass? Was it a fumble? Well, it looks like a fumble is going to be in on the mark for DHS.
Let's look a second time. I don't think we got the actual part when that ball comes out. It was close. Tom Brady probably gets that call, but the hand coming forward there for Schmidt, I think they got this one right, that ball was out before the forward movement.
Tom Brady catching strays already here in Jamestown tonight. I don't think anyone had that one on their bingo card, Owen. Turner gets the handoff. He gets it into another first down territory. They're going to mark him just short, give him a gain of 9.
Well, you mentioned right at the end of our halftime there that you get the ball in plus territory, got to make it count. Well, here's Dickinson's opportunity to stretch this from a 9-point lead to maybe even 3 possessions if you choose to go for 2. But this is a big scoring opportunity for the Mavericks to start to pull away late tonight.
Also for Dickinson, though, this is right in Jackson Braun's kicking range as well. Worst case scenario. Stevenson fakes the handoff, throws one low to Ciani, and it hits into the ground. Ciani had a very big week 1 against Fargo South, but has been very quiet since. They're seeing if they can kind of get that jolt back from number 14.
And again, something we mentioned earlier where Ciani kind of is in that group of kind of wild cards a little bit for Dickinson. Anybody can have a big game at any point out of that pot of players, and I think you're seeing Cheddar have it today. But Lowry's another name in the game right now on 3rd and 1 who's played a big part tonight.
Playing that smash mouth football. Will they give it to him on 3rd and short? No, they're going to pitch it out to Turner. Turner pinballs off a defender, falls forward. A little bit of a scare there for Dickinson. They had a couple guys kind of just run towards the ball. I thought it was on the ground. Maybe they thought that it was, but it looks like no, it wasn't. And a first down into Serve Pro red zone territory.
A really good job for Turner to be able to get that ball forward. Lowry missed on his blocks. There was 3 Blue Jays that sprinted right at Turner and were able to get a hand on him, but he's able to make that second effort forward. Yeah, the fumble scare, but Mavericks have the football still.
Still on the side for the Mavericks. 3 receivers to the left. Stevenson looking to the left, now back to the right. Plays it in, caught by Pollins. Pollins was held catchless last week. He picks up a reception here for about 7 yards.
And a big crash, and Pollins, he's going to have to go right to the sideline, limping as well, but concern about maybe a hit to the helmet on that play. I think Dickinson sometimes he gets so caught up in throwing the football down the field. Those underneath options, Pollins especially, can give you maybe a free 5 yards like they just picked up.
Yeah, so actually going to mark it for a gain of 5, 9:16 remaining in the third. Dickinson leads 21-12. Jamestown racing to make some late substitutions. Glauser alone to the left. A couple of receivers out to the right side. On 2nd and 5. Stevenson fakes it to Cheddar. Slant pass, it's tipped and it's intercepted for Jamestown.
There's Remick with the pick. He had the touchdown catch on offense earlier. And the turnover problem just goes from bad to worse for Dickinson now. Their third of the game, and this one a red zone turnover as well.
Well, Owen, we said worst case scenario, you're in field goal range, you kick a field goal with Braun. Well, that was not even able to be in the picture, said and done. Another turnover in this contest. Both teams hit by the turnover bug here on a Friday night in Jamestown. Run up the gut, quick tackle made for Dickinson. In on the tackle, Cale Thompson.
That's a new running back in as well, Will Bennett, that got the carry for Jamestown. The thing is, you force 3 turnovers if you're the Blue Jays, only 6 points off of them at this point. You have to at some point capitalize on a big play that your defense has been making.
Will Bennett's had a strong season, over 120 rushing yards as that second option, as they'll sling out a quick little play out to Verke, and that one going to go incomplete, setting up third down.
Yeah, the pass was a little bit behind him. Progress moving towards the sideline and upfield. That one was, again, towards kind of the offensive line and behind Verke. Really tough to make that adjustment and get positive yardage.
An incomplete pass sets up 3rd and 8 as Jamestown seeing if they can continue on this drive as they're in their own territory. Schmidt drops back to pass, faces some pressure, lobs up a pass to Verke. Does he haul it down? Yes, he does.
Oh, a makeup play right there for Jamestown after the miss. Short pass to Verke. They go deep down the field to the 43-yard line. Hauls it in, a clean catch on the sideline.
Well, this is the second time where we've seen like a 3rd or 4th down and long for Jamestown. And Schmidt says, you know what? It's my time now. We're going to throw on an absolute dime. Moves the chains, gets close into Dickinson territory. They'll hand it back onto the ground. On the carry, Bennett with a gain of 2.
Good mix on this drive of run and pass. At times, Jamestown is focused on one or the other. That's kind of kept them from getting to 3rd and manageable, which obviously I think offensive coordinators would rather have than a lot of 3rd and 13s despite their high conversion rate.
Caleb Poland's on the sideline for Dickinson, walking up and down, seeing if he can return back when Dickinson gets back on the offensive side of things. Hand it back out to Bennett. Gets around height, as able to gain a gain of 2. So what could have been a loss of 2 turns it into a positive gain.
Yeah, Dickinson got such a good push into the backfield. There was probably 3 white jerseys before Bennett got back to the line of scrimmage that were already through their block. So the Mavericks got a great push, but Bennett able to get forward. 3rd down and still pretty long for the Blue Jays.
3rd and 6 for the Jays, 7:16 remaining in the 3rd. 3 receivers out to the left of the sophomore QB. Schmidt drops back, faces some pressure. Height came in late. He does get it out in time to Remick. Breaks the tackle, and that broken tackle is going to turn into a 1st down.
Huge play there by Remick. It's one of those routes where you get to the sticks and you turn to find the football. Pass brought him a little closer to the 50-yard line. Had to do some extra work after the catch, but Remick is up for the task.
Big time yards after catch for Remick. He's already got a touchdown on the day for the Jays. Now he's got J-Town into DHS territory. Schmidt hands it off. Lowering the shoulder is Beckett with a hard 2-yard run.
Will Bennett, all about him on this drive. Fry still kind of standing at the front of the sideline. They can go to him. Nothing of an injury scare there, I don't believe, but giving Bennett his reps right now.
2 guys over 100 yards. Again, Fry more of that feature back, but Bennett getting some reps. They'll go right back to him, this time through the air. Bennett tried to weave around, but gets hit by Wyatt Turner, who's made some nice plays defensively.
Yeah, they were trying to set up a block with Eli Olson. If he just does his one job there and gets his hands on the defense, Bennett has a giant gain and a Jamestown 1st down. Instead, missed on the block, and that one-on-one tackle goes the way of the Mavericks.
We talk a lot about Turner on the offensive side for Dickinson, but there's a big tackle there. He also had a big-time pass breakup that potentially saved at least a 1st down, maybe even a touchdown for Jamestown earlier in the contest. 3rd and 6. Schmidt works it to the left to Seffi Saylor. Saylor taking on two different Mavericks, will be eventually brought down by Height and Hammond out of play, but Saylor, again, hard-fought yards, moves the chains again.
Jamestown's not making it very easy on themselves. That's another 3rd down and 6 conversion through the air. Saylor was pretty open. There was some deep coverage there for Dickinson. Throw it right to the sticks, and Jamestown will move them.
5:20 now remaining in the 3rd quarter. Jamestown trails by 2 possessions, with their offense moving and grooving up the field. Saylor in motion. They'll fake it to him, hand it off to Bennett. Bennett full steam ahead, and he's caught by a whole bunch of different Mavericks, and he won't even go down. He'll just stay right in the middle of the pile.
Bennett, 5'8", 150, the senior, came in with about 130 yards on the season. Again, 2nd down and 7-ish for Jamestown here. Chance you can run the football again, but again, I don't want to face another 3rd and 6 on this drive.
Looks to the right with a throw out near the 10-yard line. It's bobbled and it's intercepted by Dickinson, but I think it's going to be coming back, a flag on the play. Polans is going to have a return that's going to be brought down at the 26-yard line.
Brock, I have no idea what this flag is going to be about. I'm not even sure you can call a possible pass interference on. That ball is just being batted around, and it goes to Dickinson after it hits a couple different players. Saylor did a nice job of playing defense as the offense, but that gave the ball a second life, and the Mavericks found it in the air.
Didn't see it much there on the replay, but it just seemed like 4 players, 2 from each team, kind of all ran into each other, and the ball just gets put up there for Polans.
Penalty is against Dickinson, though.
You see hands in the air over on the DHS side. They are.
I mean, that was an underthrown ball. It wasn't too catchable, but you prevent a receiver from making a play on the ball. It was defensive holding, I believe. And I get Dickinson's argue that ball wasn't too close to the wide receiver, but at the same time, got to give him a chance to go back to it.
So negate the interception by Polans. 4:26 remaining in the 3rd. The Jays stay alive. They'll give it off to Bennett, and he finds the end zone on the very next play. Touchdown, J-Town. They pull within 1 possession.
Impressive drive from everybody for Jamestown. I mean, obviously Bennett said his name a lot on that possession, but faced with 3 third downs, all of 6 yards or more, to convert them all, a giant step forward in progress for sophomore quarterback Carson Schmidt.
Well, touchdown on the board, and now Trout going to go for the extra point, and it is blocked. Fast horse in the area. Verke going to come down with it. But the block kick will keep Jamestown at 18 points after the Bennett touchdown. 21-18. Dickinson stays up by 3. 4:22 remaining in the 3rd when we come back.
Since 2003, the architects and engineers at Ackerman Esvold have been enhancing everyday life. From response times to commute times, we've helped create critical infrastructure, enhancing highway safety, flood protection, and public education. And we're no stranger to enhancing fun, family outings, and even game time. Ackerman Esvold, working to enhance your everyday life.
(21-18) Jamestown picking up a touchdown with Will Bennett on the ground. They pull within 1 possession, but it was Colby Fasthorse and company that get into the blocked PAT to keep it a 3-point game.
Just remind our viewers, each team has scored 3 touchdowns today, Brock. Dickinson's made 3 PATs. Jamestown has missed all 3 of them, so that's the only difference in today's football game right now, just on the BNC National Bank scoreboard.
Well, for those extra points, 1 was wide, 1 was blocked, and the 2-point conversion was no good, just to kind of remind everyone at home as Cheddar picks it up at the 20. He'll make his way to about the 30-yard line. Maybe they'll give him an extra yard. 31. Hey, why not?
Well, Dickinson, again, last possession to start the second half. A turnover in the red zone I know you're still leading, but it just feels like the Mavericks have a lot of work to do to get this offense in sync and play up to its potential a little bit in this third and fourth quarter.
Well, this game's so unpredictable. I don't know where the next 4 minutes of this third quarter and the rest of the fourth quarter are going to take us. It's been a roller coaster ride so far. And right now for both teams, Stevenson hands it off to Turner. Turner tries to work out to the left side. He's tackled by Blackmore. He's going to get a gain of 1.
Dickinson, you can't be afraid to put it in the air after that last interception. Pullins is back on the field, so he has returned. Obviously had that interception that got called back. Have him healthy. Everybody's ready to go for the Mavericks on this drive.
Quick substitution as Gaynor comes running out on the Jamestown defense. 3:44 remaining in the third. They motion Luna. Straight ahead is Stevenson on the quarterback keeper, and that's just one of those plays that just seems like it's pretty much guaranteed positive yards for Dickinson.
Yeah, when you got Stevenson running, he's just one of those runners that's going to fall forward and try and spread out the Jamestown defense to allow him some better numbers, try and match up blockers to defensive players in the box, and Dickinson very much did that on that play.
Well, 3rd and 3, we'll see the formation. As I say, if you see Isaac Lowry back there, I'd say maybe it's a fullback dive. I mean, he's been pretty efficient back there. 2 touches, 2 touchdowns for 45 tonight. As look at it to Turner, he'll jet up the field, gets the first down, gets past midfield. He's tackled at the 45-yard line into Jamestown territory.
Wyatt Turner, hard to tackle. I mean, he's just 5'7", and Dickinson says he's going to hide behind that offensive line, but he is gone once he hits that line of scrimmage and works his way upfield, crossing the midfield stripe to the 45.
2:44 remaining here in the third. Ball at the 45. Dickinson leads by 3. Back into Jamestown territory. Last time they were in on this side of the field, it was a turnover and interception for Jamestown. For Jagger Remick. They'll give it out to a handoff. Turner for the loss. He's dropped near midfield. They'll keep him in the Jamestown side at the 49.
It's a good play for the Blue Jays to maybe they're pushed back on what has been a solid start to the possession for Dickinson Mavericks. Get behind the sticks, way behind the sticks here on 2nd and 14.
2nd and 14. Do they keep it on the ground? Do they go back, try to get something going on the air?
If they do run it, it's probably Stevenson.
Stevenson looked to pass, but it's going to have some laundry on the field. False start on the offense. Oh, I don't know if you saw that flag, but I think that might be one of the brightest yellow flags I think I've ever seen. Usually they're a little bit of a darker yellow, but that one is almost neon.
You know, I spent a whole fall one year covering 6-man football in North Dakota. They used to have pink flags. They were pretty fluorescent, so I will make an argument there that the pink flags of 6-man football might be the brightest I've ever seen.
Okay, I'll say brightest yellow then. Maybe they're not going to beat the neon pink. Stevenson back to pass, into the pocket, breaks a tackle, gets a block from Pullins, gets to the initial line of the scrimmage, almost coughs at the ball. He does. Jamestown saying they have it.
I think Stevenson was down. Obviously, the referee on the far side did throw kind of that marker to signal the ball was out, but the official right next to the play did mark Stevenson down at the original line of scrimmage.
With how this game's gone, it's just you just never know, Owen.
Yes, going back to just that last play call, asked what do they do on 2nd and 14. Well, 2nd and 19 still, quarterback keeper. It picks up 10 yards right there. If you want a big chunk play on the ground, Stevenson's the reliable option.
3rd and 10. Stevenson. Scott time. Finds a wide open Pullins in and out of his hands.
This time it's not a turnover for Dickinson, but it feels like it hurts just as much. That's a first down right there, but Pullins right through his hands. A 4th down and 9 decision here at the 44. A much easier one for McLaughlin right now.
And you hear that all the time when you watch the college football broadcast or NFL broadcast. That receiver was thinking too much of what he was going to do after the football and didn't go through that motion to secure it. 4th and 10. Two receivers the opposite side. Stevenson trying to convert the fourth down. He wants it all. Heaves one towards the end zone for Leeson. It goes incomplete.
Dickinson's going to ask for some pass interference after the call went against him on Jamestown's drive, but I think right there was a contact down the field. Once that ball got released, I feel like it kind of went away, and Jamestown should be able to get away with that contact early without a flag, but Dickinson sure letting the officials hear it after that.
Dawson McLaughlin was a football player for DSU, and I think you saw the speed. I don't know if you were watching.
I watched him the entire way.
That was probably one of the quickest, maybe 30-yard sprints from a coach I've ever seen.
Yeah, he was on it, and you could see it early in the play, but again, I think Jamestown did kind of let up. I know it's kind of bending the rules a little bit, but as that ball came in, it was clean.
Give the handoff to Fry, who's back in at the running back spot after a good drive for Bennett on the ground. Fry going to pick up right where Bennett left off with a gain of 8.
Well, they rest Fry's leg for a big drive of his own after Bennett's big performance, and a nice start right there for 8.
Time ticking down, under a minute left in the third quarter, 25 seconds to be exact. Looks like just one more play has to be made here to close out quarter number 3. Second and short. Wheel route into the hands of Saylor. There's a first down and more to the 30, the 20, shoved out of bounds by Glosser.
It goes out of bounds with 6 seconds, so a chance to run another play for the Blue Jays. And how about this? Dickinson maybe thinking fourth quarter on the way. Instead, you hit him with a catch and run for Seffi Saylor, one of the more underrated, dangerous receivers in AA football. Glad we're getting to watch him play tonight.
Oh, and could Jamestown get a second buzzer beater touchdown? They got one as time expired in the first quarter. They could do the same here in the third.
They 100% could. I wouldn't stress about it, though, if you're the Blue Jays with the turnovers that have been plaguing these teams tonight.
They'll hand it off to Fry, and it will be a buzzer beater touchdown with 1 second left before halftime.
It was one of those plays. They didn't stress about scoring. It just so happened Liam Fry makes a little juke move there, and one broken arm tackle. He's gone.
And it's one of those things for Dickinson that I believe this is now the fourth time they're going to be trailing heading into the fourth quarter by one possession. First time, though, on the road, the 3 home games when they trailed by that one possession gap heading into that fourth quarter. So not unfamiliar territories for the Mavericks, but Jamestown taking the lead, and Trout going to try his hand to try to boot this one through the uprights.
Talking about a pretty big extra point right here, the difference between 3 and 4.
Oh, they're going to fake it.
Yeah.
Verke throws one. It's picked off and quickly whistled. As I believe high school, you can't run it back, but if you could, that might have been 2 points for the Mavericks.
Yeah, it wasn't really a fake. It was just a really high snap, and Jamestown had to do something with it besides kick.
Well, that looks like that is going to some difference here on the scoreboard here. Got reset to the first quarter with 4:33. So, Owen, what's the score here? Do you have the official?
24-21 Jamestown.
There we go. Just to make sure we can update that on the scoreboard here in Jamestown.
1 second left in the third.
Everything kind of got shifted. It's 0-0 on the score with the first quarter. So, you know what? Let's just play the game over again. Hey, why not?
It's fixed, but I just want to point out our little funny-looking scoreboard that I know a lot of people are kind of laughing about tonight was the only one that was right there for a couple of seconds.
No, I think who's ever running the board said, hey, let's play this one again. This one's been a fun game so far. Let's get more action.
Hey, this field's going to have a pretty fun football game tomorrow. It's homecoming for the University of Jamestown as well. They're going to host Mary. So a lot of fun football to view this weekend in J-Town.
Hey, I know you'll be doing a collegiate game for Minot State, but this one might be a little tough to beat, I would say.
Yeah, it's been exciting. We have a whole fourth quarter left. We still have a kick return. Got to point that out from what we've seen tonight.
Could have another buzzer beater touchdown, but no, Trout's just going to boot it out.
Well, they're going to get it from the 35.
And what we thought that was going to be the final play, and then we thought 2 other plays would be the final play, but no, this one will officially be the final play of the third.
And if you're Dickinson here, this is probably just the start of a drive. How long can you hold on to the football in the fourth quarter? If you can show to yourself really more than anybody else, you can hold the football for 7-8 minutes without turning the ball over, finishing, field goal, touchdown, whatever it is. This is a big drive for kind of the rest of the season for the Mavericks heading into quarter 4.
So we'll take it on to the 35 final play of the third quarter, and this one could be one that tries to get them on the right track to start the fourth. Now trailing by a score. Poland in motion. They'll hand it off to the speedy running back. To the 35, tries to cut up field, gets to the 38-yard line, a gain of 3, and that will close out quarter number 3 as Jamestown, a late touchdown here in the third quarter with 1 second left, puts them up 24-21 as we head on over to quarter number 4 when we return.
The foundation of the financial planning approach at Legacy Financial Partners is a personal relationship. Our unique and collaborative approach to financial planning starts with your dreams, not just the numbers. We will work with you regularly to take action to update your plan as your needs evolve, recommending products and services that are right for your situation.
A back and forth contest sees Jamestown take the lead heading into the fourth quarter, and deja vu part 4 for Dickinson, down by a score heading into the fourth quarter for a 4th time this season.
Like I said about this drive before we went to break right there, this is kind of one where you can pick up the rest of your season right here if you're Dickinson, to prove to yourself you can get the job done early in the fourth quarter on a sustained offensive possession.
Picked up 3 yards on the final play. Now they'll head it on over for a quick handoff to Stevenson. Or Stevenson with just going to quarterback keeper, should I say, with a gain of 2.
Just calling his own number right there, kind of going away from really the motion of all the blocks. Just trying to run somebody over. Gets to the 41-yard line. And, you know, they haven't picked up a first down yet on this drive. They're facing a 3rd and 4. Blue Jays can have a big-time stop right now.
No, it's 3rd and 4, but they substituted the blocking tight end for Ethan Luna, one of the receivers. So just to kind of put that out there as well. As they'll mention in Pollins, and Stevenson wasn't ready for the snap. He wins the race back to it, but that is what could have been a 3rd and 4. Now going to turn into a 4th and long, and more than likely a punting down for the Mavericks.
It has to. I mean, there's still 11 minutes left in the football game. It's only a 3-point score, but what hurt Dickinson in the first quarter, after all the things in the middle, you think the snap has been figured out, comes back to haunt them again in the fourth. And Stevenson, he just needs to kind of calm down during this punt, get back and play defense, and work on the next possession, next play mentality.
Braun's already had a couple of nice punts. This one looks like it's going to hit at the 40. Takes a kind of a jagged hit and runs to the 46, 47-yard line.
Yeah, the wind is at the backs of the Blue Jays right now. We kind of saw that one get up to the 40 and drop straight down onto the turf. So it would have been a really nice punt there from Braun, just fell a little short.
Well, now Jamestown has one of these possessions where, wouldn't say you would put this game to rest with a touchdown with how this game has gone, but at least you would be an insurance touchdown to go up by 2 scores.
Yeah, their offense has been rolling lately thanks to the running game.
This time the run not going to go far. Devin Hite going to finish off Bennett there, make it a loss of 1. Or excuse me, a gain of 1.
It was all Bennett 2 drives ago. It was all Fry in the last one, and now kind of rotating in the backfield. The Blue Jays, kind of the key to the game that we never got to bring up. That I was telling you, Brock, established run game. Jamestown has done a good job of that in the second half.
2nd and 9. They fake it to Fry. Throw it in direction. It is caught by Tucker Allen. And that's just going to be right at the initial line of scrimmage. And Tucker Allen's a kid that, again, kind of that safety blanket. I talked maybe a little off air with you that I thought maybe Allen could be in due for a big game. And he's one of those kids that leads the team, is in the team kind of top 2 or 3 for receptions. And I think those young quarterbacks always love the tight end.
Oh, yeah, a goal line play. I could see Allen just kind of a jump ball in the back of the end zone kind of player.
Looking to the left. They get it into Verke on 3rd and 10. Makes one man miss, and it's Devin Hite again with the tackle, this time setting up 4th and about 5.
Well, here you go. Decision for Jamestown. I know it's the 41-yard line. I know they're thinking about going for it right now. You just use up all this clock right now. They can get it to about 8:40 before they need to snap it, and I think you just punt it right now. I don't see any benefit right now in maybe giving Dickinson an extra 20, 30 yards right here.
I see your point of view, but I was also thinking Jamestown has been really good on 3rd and 4th down conversions
that is
in this game. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. They trust the sophomore quarterback, or if they're going to play the field position game. Is scrambling out to the right. They're going to trust the sophomore quarterback. He's got a receiver open. It is Ellen, but it is underthrown, incomplete.
The scouting report on Schmidt just throws off the back foot, and right there just had nothing on it to get it down the field to Allen, who is free for a touchdown. And there you go, a turnover on downs. You take the gamble. You give Dickinson an extra 20-yard help here, 30-yard help, wherever that punt would have gone. And you got a Dickinson team that's playing a little angry right now on offense.
Hey, that was almost right on cue. We start singing the praises of Tucker Allen and almost gets a touchdown there. Just throw a little off the mark, off that back foot again of Schmidt. So set back Dickinson on the mark with 8:45 remaining in the contest, down by 3. They'll give the handoff off to Cheddar. He hits the gas pedal to the 30. One man to beat. He's into the 20, the 10. Shoelace tackle and a game-saving tackle for Thorlickson.
54 yards on the run right there for Cheddar. I feel like we haven't said his name in the last 2 hours. Well, here he is.
But what a big-time tackle for Graydon Thorlickson to run down the speedy Cheddar.
There's kind of fullback territory for Dickinson. Not going to bring him out on the field right now, but Stevenson and Cheddar, that's kind of a dream read option backfield.
Stevenson hands it off to Cheddar, will fall short. That Cheddar big run, depending on how this drive ends, might be the play of the game for either team. The game-saving tackle for Thorlickson or the big run from Cheddar.
Yeah, it can go two ways. Obviously, Jamestown backed up to the one-yard line right now. It's really bend, don't break if you're the Blue Jays. Still 3 more chances, though, for the Mavericks to punch this in.
And now they bring in Devin Height. Made his first start as tight end on the season on the offense. He is their lead tackler on the defense. He's just going to pave the way for Cheddar, who finds his way for the score. They bring in the linebacker to block, and Cheddar does the rest. He had the home run hitting 50-yard run earlier in the drive, and he caps it off with a 1-yard touchdown.
Really nice response there for Dickinson. You score quickly, but it didn't really matter when you scored. It was just if you can move the ball down the field, and thanks to Caden Cheddar, gets the ball on every play of that drive. Dickinson is back in front.
And now Braun puts it up through the uprights. Tally in the extra point. He's a perfect 4 for 4 today, and he helps Dickinson go up by a touchdown. They lead 28-24, 7:28 remaining in quarter number 4. Jamestown's offense hits the field when we return.
The Jersey Mike's catering box is the easiest way to feed your friends. The hard part is picking your sub. That's why we're having a draft. With the first pick, Sarah from Carolina selects number 13, the original Italian.
You know, I trusted my gut, and that's exactly where the sub's going to go. So
hold on, we've got a trade. Jake traded his second pick with me, because I'm starved. Freshly sliced subs to go, wherever you and your friends go. Jersey Mike's, a sub above.
28-24, and it's now kind of being one of those games, whatever you can do, I can do better. But the big thing is trying to take care of the football for these two teams now in crunch time. We talked about it all game long. You got to take care of the football. This might be the biggest time to do that right now.
Yeah, no room for a turnover.
Squib kick that hits off of Verke. That's a live ball. Going to be scooped up by Jamestown. Scurry runs into his own blocker. Now he gets out to the outside to the 40 and gets down at the 42.
Well, turn that into something positive to the Blue Jays, but yeah, no room for a turnover at this point, especially when you're trading punches in the fourth quarter, and it's whichever offense is going to have it last right now.
And speak about, we've seen pretty much everything. We've seen fumbles, we've seen interceptions, and there's the first time there. We see a ball hit off of a different player, not the returner, and forced kind of scramble mode there for Scarry to pick that up. So I guess a muffed return, but he wasn't really the returner. Handoff to Fry. Spinning out of traffic, able to pick up a gain of 7.
All the offensive success has been on the ground. I know Jamestown, a couple of big pass plays they've converted, but look at what the Mavericks have done offensively as well, just running the football. That's been their success after halftime.
Did you just do your go-to move on Madden, hit the spin move, or are you more of a juke guy, truck guy?
If I actually tried to do that in pads, it'd probably not end up very well. I'll go spin move, though.
Spin move, there you go. There's a little play out to Verke. Verke makes one man miss. He's into Dickinson territory. And these offenses, I think, started wearing down the defenses because offenses coming to shine here in the fourth.
There's a lot of two-way players out there for both sides. You know, that linebacking core for Dickinson, they play pretty much every snap of the football game. You're talking about the quarterback out there as well, Stevenson right in the middle. So, yeah, this game is worn on, and it has taken a lot out of all these athletes.
As much as this is a physical game, I think this is a game that's very on the mental side of things as well. A mental roller coaster for these two teams, and we'll see how it continues on in the fourth. Handoff for Fry. He'll pick up a gain of 5 on the play. It's just halfway through now, the fourth quarter, as we approach the 6-minute mark.
Not sure how long Jamestown can hold on to this football, but we're talking about running this down to almost the very end and maybe punching one in. Just got to make sure you keep up this average. They're going about 5 yards a carry.
And it could force another around that 2 to 3 minute drill for Dickinson. That would have been their 4th time facing it. Schmidt throws it right into the opposing quarterback of Stevenson. He cuts out to the 40, the 35, and he's ushered out of bounds. Stevenson coming up big on the defensive end.
All the turnovers today. That's Jamestown's first. They had not turned the ball over at all today until that interception.
It seems like every week, though, we have a camera on Stevenson on the sideline getting ready for a 2-minute drill on offense. But I think he's thinking, I don't want to do that anymore. I'm going to play some defense, pick up a big-time interception. And now 5 minutes left. They're up by a score. Seeing if they can now try to drain out some of that clock and maybe put up some insurance points here late.
Just how deflating that last play was for Jamestown. Stevenson was right in the passing lane, read it the whole way. Eyes on Schmidt, the quarterback. Blue Jays, they got to force a turnover of their own now on defense to save this.
If you're Dawson McLaughlin, how aggressive do you be?
Well, I mean, you got 5 minutes left. You got to pick up first down still. You can throw it. Keep it to a minimum.
Quarterback keeper, first down and then some. Stevenson spins out of a tackle, and he's in the end zone for 6. He comes up with the interception and then a touchdown right after.
Just an incredible turnaround for Stevenson himself. That bad snap, he went off the field, smoke coming out of his ears. And to get the pick, to run in a touchdown, got to have a few more smiles after that. What a turnaround for the Mavericks in the fourth quarter.
A big-time interception turned into a big-time touchdown for the junior quarterback. And Braun, who's been money all day, gives it 5 for 5 at the PAT, puts Dickinson up 35-24, 4:47 remaining when we continue on here in the fourth quarter.
Dakota Community Bank and Trust, your trusted partner for commercial and business loans. We not only provide lending you need to grow your business, but we also reinvest in our communities. We believe in strengthening our businesses and creating opportunities for success. Choose Dakota Community Bank and Trust for your commercial and business loans, and together let's keep our communities thriving.
Serving the community, looking out for you. At Dakota Community Bank and Trust, that's what we do.
35-24, Dickinson leads over Jamestown, 4:47 remaining in the fourth. And We will take a look after this kickoff of the play that puts Dickinson up by 2 scores. It was Nate Stevenson that comes away with a big interception. A few plays later, he runs it in for himself. As bobbling it there is Saylor. Picks it back up at the 20. And now the kick return game that's been so positive for the Jays come up with a couple of bobbles. But let's take a look at the replay that puts Dickinson up by 11.
As Stevenson just downhill running. I mean, right at the beginning of that replay you saw, he just sheds a tackle like he's done so much, and then the wheels to get him all the way to the paint and scores that 5th touchdown of the game for Dickinson.
Well, here is crunch time now for the Jays, what is pretty much a must-score possession. Schmidt throws it in to the direction of Verke. Verke heads upfield, fights a couple of yards with Cheddar, still won't go down. There's about 4 different Mavics in the area, and finally Verke hits the dirt around the 38.
The only thing Jamestown fans are thinking right there, hold on to the football. There was an aggressive rip at it by Cheddar, a couple of them, as Verke was still trying to battle for yards.
Verke was going for the yards, Cheddar was going for the football. Dropping back to pass. Schmidt just gets it off before Flower hits him into the air, intercepted, picked off by Glauser. He's just going to go down.
Dickinson's defense, I mean, Glauser had an interception go through his hands earlier in the football game, and that one just about puts this game on ice today in Jamestown.
Let's take a look, brought to you by Ryan Family Dealership. Look at Blower, provides the pressure, gets it off in time, just behind the shoulder of his projected target, and picked off by Glauser.
I think Glauser right there kind of just went back to his wide receiver mode. It was like he was running a route down the field right in the basket. Was that throw just to the wrong jersey from Schmidt? Obviously for a sophomore who's made a lot of steps forward tonight, a tough end to it with 2 picks in the last 2 possessions.
Hands it off right up the gut. Picks up a gain of 4. You know Dawson McLaughlin and Tiger Fry, part of that coaching staff, grinning ear to ear with the changes they made on that defense today. You got Nate Stevenson first start on the defense. He comes up with a big interception. You move Blower from linebacker to the defensive line. He's been providing a lot of great pressure and had pressure on that last interception. Every button they pressed, and that coaching staff has worked out well in that defense, especially here late as Turner tripped up on a shoelace tackle, but still somehow stays upright. Give him a gain of 2.
Wonder when Jamestown maybe starts going to the timeouts. They have 3 of them left. It's only a 2-possession game, but now down to 3:20 on the clock. I think you'd have to trust your defense to get a stop right now on 3rd down and short, and then the eventual 4th down play before the timeouts even get used right now. Tough spot to be for Bill Nelson.
Stevenson, 3rd and 3. 3 minutes on the clock. Dickinson leads 35-24. That one almost gets away from Stevenson, but Turner right place, right time. He will churn the legs for a 1st down.
Well, this time the bad snap works out for Dickinson. Snapped it right to Turner. They bypassed the handoff, and it's a 1st down for the Mavericks.
No, that was how they drew it up there, Owen, right there in a kind of a unorthodox wildcat.
I think it's been a little too evident tonight, though, to kind of just brush it away for Dickinson, though.
Yeah, it's been one of those wonky games for both these 2 teams. But, hey, these are the games that you remember down the line.
And it's the game they need. Obviously, we kind of came into this thinking must win. And it's Dickinson right now who's ready to just run out the clock and pick up a pivotal win in West Region play.
Cheddar goes for a gain of 9. I know something that we kind of talked about off air, but I'll mention it now is one of these things where I know we kind of talked it's kind of a must-win game for both these 2 teams, but if a team had to lose and still have a good shot to get to the playoffs, it would have been Jamestown.
Yeah, they still have a lot of important games ahead of them. Obviously, it looks like St. Mary's is going to fall tonight, so Jamestown and the St. Mary's Saints will be those winless teams in the WDA heading into next week unless a miracle happens on homecoming for the Blue Jays today. Still very important football ahead of Jamestown.
Just one of those things where you can get one of those weird 3 or 4-way kind of ties towards the end of kind of how all these teams are bunched up. Watford City, DHS, Jamestown, St. Mary's could all be in that same mix.
It's kind of what we had last year. Dickinson would beat a team who would lose the next week, and then it would kind of all circle back around. Eventually you had a 500 team, Valley City, playing in the West Region Championship against Minot North. And that Watford City team, the win over Dickinson, big for them. Jamestown's going to get their shot against the Wolves, a Watford City team that dropped to 1-1 tonight as well.
Today's game brought to you by Northern Plains Heating and Air. There's no other choice to seal your heating and air game in the Northern Plains Heating and Air. Call Dylan today at 222-2155 to make sure your furnace is ready for the winter months ahead. New installation, upgrades, and all your furnace and AC needs. Again, call Dylan today, 222-2155.
It's not over completely for Jamestown, but it's going to take another 3rd down and 1 stop to give yourself a chance at any form of a comeback.
It's a big 3rd and 1, but kind of how this game is, you think Dickinson's going to get 2 chances at it. They'll go for it on 4th to try to put this game away. Height in as the fullback. They'll give it to Turner. He picks up the 1st down. And now that will pretty much put it on the ice. We'll see if Bill Nelson will still take his timeouts. And it does not look that way.
And if he doesn't there, that means Dickinson can probably just kneel this one out and head west with a win.
Talked to Coach McLaughlin. He said his team traveled really well. It was one of those things where sometimes you just don't know how a team's going to travel, especially when you got to have those long distances. They played in Grand Forks this year. Now a long road trip out to Jamestown. They're going to come out with the long trip, out with a win, and Height going to get his first carry on the season.
Well, that's just AA football. If you want to play the first week of the postseason, expect a 6-hour bus ride out east.
Especially for Dickinson right there close to the Montana border.
Yes. Probably could draw a Central Cass. So once again, Central Cass had to go out there to Dickinson, I believe, earlier in the season, maybe a return trip in the books.
And Fargo South had to be out there as well. And now here comes victory formation. Stevenson going to have it with the knee. And he came up with 3 kind of game-sealing plays. The interception, the touchdown, and there it is, the one that's going to drain out the clock as Dickinson, as you mentioned, has that road trip out east today into Jamestown, and they will pick up the win and head back home into the Queen City with a 1-1 start to the conference record, 35-24 over the Blue Jays. We are going to head in to the Charbonneau Car Center post-game show. When we return, we have the Sports Clips, MVP of the matchup, and much, much more coming your way.
This presentation on the PSP Network is proudly brought to you by social media platforms. PSP Network, it's game day.
When facing disaster, it's not just the things we lose, but the memories. But there's hope. ServPro, with decades of experience in Minot and Bismarck, is always ready. Our certified professionals don't just restore homes, they rebuild lives. Because to us, you're not just a client, you're family.
Our stylists are trained to understand the nuances of cutting men's hair. Less pomp, more adore, huh, Brittany?
Square face, wavy hair.
Mid-fade with a textured top. Finish it off with a hard part and taper that neckline, coach.
Cowlick, what's the move? It's not just all about hard work here.
Hit all. 7, pressure, points, yeah.
It takes expertise to be a sport clip stylist.
Here?
That's the spot. Right there, huh? Sport Clips, the pros in men's hair.
Whether you're looking for a full-service financial plan or planning for farm or business succession, Planning Team Financial Advisors is here to help you work toward achieving your financial goals. With locations in Bismarck, Garrison, and Center, our full-service team of professionals are dedicated to helping you work towards achieving your financial goals. Visit us online, planningteam.com.
Securities offered through LPL Financial, member of FINRA SIPC. Investment advisory services offered through New Edge Advisors, LLC, a registered investment advisor. New Edge Advisors, LLC, and Planning Team Financial Advisors are separate entities from LPL Financial.
Planning for the future is difficult, but pre-planning your funeral is a thoughtful way to ease the burden on your loved ones. At Stevenson Funeral Home, our compassionate team will help you create a personalized plan that reflects your values. We'll make sure that your wishes are honored and that your family will have peace of mind in a challenging time. Call us today to start your pre-planning journey. You can count on us to be with you every step of the way. Stevenson Funeral Home.
Wondering whether you need wealth management? Wealth management is a multifaceted offering that should provide opportunities for growth and security. At BNC National Bank, we pride ourselves on putting your priorities first and providing practical, objective financial advice. Our team can help you assess your goals and take stock of your assets to determine whether wealth management is right for you. Speak to a member of our team today to learn more. Member FDIC.
And there's your final. 35-24 Dickinson on a trailing, entering the fourth quarter, comes away with the win. And there it is, fourth time's the charm. There's their fourth time entering the fourth quarter down by one possession. Their previous three times they fell in heartbreaking fashion. Tonight, though, it was everything clicking right in the fourth quarter. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. Owen Patterson down trying to get our MVP, brought to you by Sports Clip. So he's going to be making his way back up here. And then we'll start diving in to the contest. But before we get into that, we'll take a look at other scores. We'll start out with the other games around 2A. Grand Forks Central defeats Waupun 49-14. Devils Lake over Bismarck St. Mary's tonight 54-14. Kindred will stay undefeated versus Fargo South 35-3. Central Cass and Grand Forks Red River still going on in a nail-biter 17-13 in favor of the fifth-ranked Squirrels, 9 minutes remaining in the fourth. Top-ranked Minot North gets the win, stays undefeated over Watford City 43-0. 3A, well, Fargo Davies, they were number one early on in the season. It looks like they're on path to be number one again as they have defeated Shanley, the first loss for the Deacons this year, 42-22. 3 minutes left in that game, but it looks like that one is trending in the direction for the Eagles. Century defeats Wilson 69-7. West Fargo Cheyenne, last year's champs, pick up a big win against Fargo North 18-0. Bismarck versus Mandan, final minute of that game, the Demons lead 41-20. Legacy, led by Yusuf Jama, 41-12 over Minot, and West Fargo Horace over West Fargo 27-13. A couple other notable games. We'll start off with 11A. Dickinson Trinity picks up the win against Hazen 42-8. Botno over DLB 31-16. Valverdre Canamoose over Tioga 37-0. As that looks like our major scores around our area. And Central McLean Bowman County into the fourth. Central McLean leads 12-6. Well, Owen, you made the trek down. You made the trek back up. Hey, that's a pretty impressive time because you're on the roof. You had to go back down, went all on the opposite side of the field. And I would say I thought I was going to get through a lot more than I did. But, hey, that's some speedy effort there.
Well, I was at a cross-country meet earlier today, so I got a little warm-up run in there. It came in handy tonight.
It sure did. We talked about scores, so I kind of kept talking about this game in our back pocket as on the Charbonneau Car Center post-game show. So let's start talking about how we got to the point of a Dickinson 35-24 victory. It was a low-scoring first quarter, at least for the most part of the first quarter, and then we started getting some points there in the final seconds.
Yeah, 12 seconds, our first score of the game. Isaac Lowry, the fullback dive, gave Dickinson a 7-0 lead. It was responded, though, by the Blue Jays. Aiden Scari, the kickoff return touchdown. His time expired in quarter number one. However, the PA team missed wide right. And the extra points today, until that very end of the football game, played a big part in how this one finished today. The second quarter scoring, Jay Garemick, a 23-yard touchdown catch for the Blue Jays to give them a 12-7 lead. Dylan Glauser, 50-yard touchdown catch for Dickinson, put them back in front 14-12. Again, PATs tossing the lead back and forth. And then right before the break, 50 seconds left, it was Lowry, his second rushing score from 70 yards away. Dickinson went up at the half 21-12. The Jamestown Blue Jays would come out firing in the second half after two very big scoring drives. One featured Will Bennett, kind of his debut performance of the entire game, got the ball a lot, ended with a 14-yard rushing score at the 4:22 mark of the third. Dickinson still had the lead, though, 21-18, and then it was Liam Fry, his turn to carry the rock for Jamestown with 1 second left in the third quarter. We thought maybe play to the fourth. Well, give him the football 17 yards later, he's gone, and the Blue Jays carried a 24-21 lead into the fourth.
Planning for the future is difficult, but pre-planning your funeral is a thoughtful way to ease the burden on your loved ones. At Stevenson Funeral Home, our compassionate team will help you create a personalized plan that reflects your values. We'll make sure that your wishes are honored and that your family will have peace of mind in a challenging time. Call us today to start your pre-planning journey. You can count on us to be with you every step of the way. Stevenson Funeral Home.
Oh, wait, let's welcome him back into the Sharpen Oak Car Center post-game show. The wind, unfortunately, knocking down some of our equipment.
Sending us home tonight, Brock.
So a couple of technical errors there, but hey, we're back up and running to close it out. And we talked about how a couple of the big plays in this game, but now let's bring it in to the MVP of this matchup. Owen, I have no idea who you picked. I think there's probably a good 4 or 5 different options, but who do you think is tonight's Sports Clips MVP?
Yeah, really solid picks on both sides today from Jamestown and Dickinson. Caden Cheddar was definitely a finalist for Dickinson. He had a breakout game in the backfield, obviously the big run, the touchdown to give him the lead. But I just think kind of the player that maybe showed the most of what this game was totally about today was Nate Stevenson of Dickinson, and that's why he's our Sport Clips MVP tonight. I mean, the ups, the downs, a lot of downs in the first half for Dickinson. Another heaping of turnovers tonight. Only one of his was an interception. Obviously the missed snaps, kind of getting on his teammates a little bit, but he wanted them to perform. And he performed as well. Followed those words with actions. The interception, the rushing touchdown, him carrying the football helped out Dickinson's offense a lot in the second half of this football game. And kind of an improvised MVP interview like we normally do, just relaying the message from the huddle down there. This game was more about mental toughness than it was about a game plan. You know, these coaches could have called any play they wanted to. Who knows if it would have worked or it didn't. And Dickinson in that fourth quarter showed the mental resilience to get over those earlier mistakes, and Stevenson definitely led the way.
And it's one of those things where you can honestly kind of say it was a side of almost two different halves. Dickinson made more mistakes in the first half. Jamestown made a few more mistakes in the second half. And sometimes you'd rather just get those mistakes early and out of your way early.
And what's really confusing about that is, yes, Dickinson made more mistakes in the first half. They were leading at halftime. Jamestown made more mistakes in the second half. They had the lead in the second half. It was such a weird game tonight. Really hard to understand how it happened, but those last couple plays by Stevenson, the interception, the touchdown, has sealed it for the Mavericks today.
Well, I think that might be an instant classic. I might have to go back and watch of all the weird mishaps. Again, like you mentioned, a roller coaster ride from the start to the finish. But Dickinson walks away 1-1 in conference play, and we'll bring up the standings here before we head out. As Minot North, Devils Lake, they move to 2-0. Watford City and Dickinson will be right in the middle of the pack, 1-1. Jamestown and St. Mary's 0-2. So actually, exactly how they come in on our schedule is exactly how they will leave the standings.
Yeah, and Dickinson next week on the road at St. Mary's. Sorry, they're at home, correct, against St. Mary's next week. So another big game there. I think if they can show their ability to stop the run like they did in the first half, that's going to help out tremendously against the Saints team that loves to run the football. They have a great running back that totes the rock a lot for them. And then for Jamestown, it's essentially you got to win out maybe to make the postseason this year in the WDA, especially with the successes that Watford City has had. Obviously, that St. Mary's game is going to be pretty big to make up that fourth and final spot.
Well, it's certainly going to be a fun race to the end, but that looks like that is going to come to an end of tonight's broadcast here on the PSP Network. For Zach Sprague running the camera, for Owen Patterson and myself, Brock Widener, have yourself a great rest of your Friday night and enjoy your weekend.
This presentation on the PSP Network is proudly brought to you by... This presentation on the PSP Network is proudly brought to you by... PSP Network on all social media platforms. PSP Network, it's game.